It should be live here in a second. I'm waiting for it to come up on YouTube.
I think we're going here. So hello, everyone. This is the Friday weekly 3D printing community hangout. I'm Nillabean, of course. Most of you guys know me. It's my crowd here. And I guess we're going to do some quick introductions here. If we want to start with 3D printed Aspie. You want to let everyone know who you are, what you're doing there, sir?
Hi guys, I'm Ryan, 3D printed Aspie. I'm a 3D artist, or well, trying to be a 3D artist. I do ZBrush sculpts and 3D print, and at the minute I'm sort of teaching myself anatomy by sculpting in monster clay. So that's what I'm up to at the minute.
All right. Chris, do you want to go next?
Hey, everyone. Last week, I think I was behind the wheel of the car. I'm Chris, Practical Printing, and we try to focus less on the widgets and fun things to print, and more on things to use practically around the house or around the car. As well as upgrading your printers and fun tutorials on how you can do things with what you got.
Hey, Dick, if I can interrupt real quick.
Sure.
Ryan, it sounds like you got a lot of feedback. It was walking over Chris. Not Aspie, the other Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like we had a vacuum there for a second. I don't know. I'm not sure what
Chris
that was.
kind of got muffled, and yeah.
It's been doing some late night cleaning. So is there anything you wanted to finish up there with, Chris?
No, that's it. I'm Chris.
Cool. And you play guitar by the looks of it.
I build them. I don't consider myself a player. I build them.
Oh, okay. That's odd. That's even more odd. I was gonna say it's kind of odd to have it hanging on your wall if you don't play, but then you build them and still don't play.
Well, I play, but I'm not a player.
Oh, I got you. I won't give you a hard time.
Oh, he's a player, all right.
Player. Claire, did you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Claire. I make videos about 3D printing. I mostly actually just like making videos, and I kind of just got into 3D printing like a few months ago, and I just like made a channel a couple days ago, and had like amazing support, so that's super great, and I'm super thankful for it. And Vicky invited me to this chat, so I just hopped on here.
Yeah, it's cool. You're gonna get on the ground level here. I've had a beer, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like tipsy already. I'm such a lightweight. Slurring my speech
about to go get another one
already. 8 minutes in, or whatever we are here. Joe Mike, did you want to introduce yourself? Show off your fidget spinner there?
Sure. I'm Joe Mike Terranella, if you want to do the Italian last name. I've got a YouTube channel, tutorials, stuff like that. Very technical guy, so I like to take printers and just Frankenstein the heck out of them. That's kind of my thing, I guess. I did print a fidget spinner, just because. But I'm making a smaller one too, so I got that going for me, which is nice. But yeah, no, I love 3D printing, and this is my first time on this, and I'm going to drop things throughout the duration of this video.
Matthew, you up next? Going down the line here.
Sure. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get this out on Twitter on the official account. So I'm Matt. My channel is How I Do It. Unlike a lot of you guys, I do 3D printing. Like you guys, I do a lot of 3D printing. But I'm also, my channel is going to start to evolve here a little bit more and be some woodworking and metalworking as well. And some electronics and stuff. Sort of a general DIY YouTube channel. The hashtag that I use on a lot of stuff is generalist instead of maker. With my day-to-day job, I do a lot of mechanics repair. I do heating and air conditioning, but I do a lot of just general fixing, and the type of equipment I work on ranges a lot. So I have a broad knowledge and sort of a jack of all trades. But I started a couple weeks ago, invited everybody to kind of randomly, sporadically just start up a stream and start chatting. And that's kind of what kicked off what you guys are watching here tonight on Nillabean's channel. It's kind of evolved pretty quickly. For those of you guys who don't know, who are new to the whole group of us, there is the Twitter account. It's F3DPCH. That is the official account to find out when and where these streams are going to be happening. Typically, they're going to be happening on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. I think it's 2 a.m. UTC. And if anybody wonders why that's all I ever tweet out is those 2 times, I'm in Eastern time zone, and I figure everybody can figure it out from there with the UTC. So that's pretty much my story.
Cool, man. Mike, tell us what you're about there.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought Ryan was going to go ahead of me. My name's Mike, and I'm from Neoportner 3D Printing. We're another YouTube channel. Surprise. Basically, we just kind of we try to take more of a family approach to 3D printing, just try to get kids interested, stuff like that. I also do a lot of reviews and slightly technical stuff on the channel, but I try to get my daughter Molly involved as much as humanly possible. Right now we're in the process of building a D-bot, not the most like family-oriented project because Molly doesn't really feel like she can help me out with it, but you know, it was just kind of like one of those things that I thought up, and I kind of figured if I could show people how cool it is to actually build your own machine, maybe we could get more people interested in that.
Yeah, man.
That's
the more people,
that's about
the
it, really.
merrier for sure. That's why I've been trying to get some friends and family into 3D printing, but they're not super interested at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like some people in the world find this like the most remarkable thing in the world, that you can build something up from a digital file and a roll of plastic, and other people are like, oh wow, isn't that cute? I bet you can make fishing lures with that.
Yeah,
and that's about as far as it goes. So
looks like Vicky just joined us. Are you ready, Vicky? Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm late. Hi, everybody. Greetings from Occoquan, Virginia. I'm Vicky Soma. My YouTube station is Tigaw3D. I still have 2 single extruder machines, but I try to make the most of them. I do a lot of color switches, and I do embedding of parts within other parts in the prints. And that's about it. I see you. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Vicky.
Cool. And then last but not least is Ryan.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, I'm Ryan. I go by Imprint or Imprint on Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, I've been following most of you guys with what you do. And I just love making everything. I like solving my own problems with my printer at home. And by trade, I'm actually a flat roofer and a tinsmith. So I just, same as was mentioned, I love getting my kids involved in this and yeah, figuring out problems and fixing them. And I actually recently just made an adapter for all spinners with a standard bag so you can stack them. So I'm eventually going to see how many I can fit and stack. It's up on fingers. That's it.
So it looks like, I thought Ryan was last, but it looks like Lauren popped in here. Lauren, did you want to introduce yourself? Because it's kind of funny, like some of you guys are introducing yourself to me as well. This is the first time I've met some of you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Whoa,
Yeah.
hi, Lauren.
Hello.
Thanks for hosting this on your channel. That's awesome. I'm Lauren from A Buzz Designs, and I do 3D printing and design stuff. Reviews, pretty much anything. There's a lot of design stuff that's going to be coming up here in the near future, but I had to take a little break from it to do my awesome 3D printed coffee table. And I started 3D printing about a year ago, just over a year ago now. Yeah, so that's about me.
Well, Lauren also does late night airport pickup in the Boston area.
Yes, we just got home from Boston. My husband was stuck in Atlanta for a full day, which was crazy thanks to Delta. And he's home now, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be passing out any second now because he got 8 minutes of sleep last night.
Nice. I think that's everybody. We're going. The Google auto switching cam technology is going live now. So if your mic goes hot, your face will be on screen. I also wanted to note, I'm kind of shocked. I've never actually watched the stream because I've been in the last two Hangouts. The quality on stream is actually significantly higher than in the Google Hangout app, which is, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that. So it's not just like pixel land for everybody that's watching. So that's kind of cool.
That's the nice thing about doing it this way. It's not dependent on any one person's bandwidth. It's your bandwidth to YouTube, to Google, and that's it. After that, it's all up on YouTube. They do everything. So all of us are streaming to YouTube, and then YouTube's putting it all together so that we can see it. So it's only one in and out versus Skype. Everybody calls into one computer. It's got to handle all that bandwidth and then also stream. You lose a lot of quality that way. So this is kind of nice for that.
Yep, everybody can see my cheeks are rosy already from drinking a single beer, but otherwise it's cool to have the higher resolution. But yeah, so what did we agree the topic was tonight? Printing problems.
Printing problems.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to touch on like advice. Like all of us here, like I'm not super experienced, but I think everybody here probably has some tips that are worthwhile for someone new that's looking to get into 3D printing. So I also kind of wanted to talk about that. It's one of the things I get the most questions about is like people that are new and interested in starting, and they always want to know like what people who are more experienced think about things. And a lot of people don't have an opportunity to communicate like directly with someone who has experience. So it's nice for them to have that opportunity in like a format like this. So
I think to kick it off, the first thing is absolutely do not be afraid of failures. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in your 3D models. It's going to happen in your prints. Take it with humor. Share it. You know, I did a maker coin around December, and it was with a little benchy with a spaghetti mess on top of it, and you know, hopefully what translates from Latin to like from failure comes knowledge. And just this week some guy had a failed benchy and it looks just like my maker coin, but it came to light because he posted his failure. He shared his failure for others to see on a Facebook group, and someone's like, hey, check out this maker coin, it's twins. So yeah, that would be the first part of advice, and then we can dive into details there.
All right, and I say, as always, like during this entire stream, like the chat is open. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on the chat. I've got it in the background here. Yeah, I've got the chat on in the background here. I don't know if anybody can read it up there on that screen, but then I've got it right here. So I'm keeping a close eye on the chat. If you guys want to have questions, go ahead and post it.
Yeah, the one thing I would add to anybody just starting out 3D printing or anybody experienced, the Simplified 3D Print Quality Troubleshooting Guide is your Bible. It is the best place to start looking to diagnose any problem that you might have, you know, out of the gate when you're first starting printing, and even when you've been printing a long time and you start seeing something new. I think Nilla's going to try to get the link out in the chat for that if anybody wants it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That troubleshooting guide has saved my life on multiple occasions and stopped the frustration and aggravation that comes along with 3D printing and trying to troubleshoot.
I think one of the important things too for people who are just getting into it, everybody in this stream probably knows, don't let the frustration get the best of you either. If you're trying to get a nozzle unjammed or a clogged up, you have a failed print that encased your nozzle, don't jump to getting the blowtorch out right away. Heat it up, try to work through it slowly and take your time, think things through. With a lot of printers, you're dealing with a lot of aluminum and a lot of brass, which are both really soft and sometimes brittle materials. It's really easy to make a mistake that you then have to order parts to repair it.
I'd say also an important thing is as you go, especially when you're starting, is to document, write things down, what your settings were, or save it somewhere, save profiles. Because I know for the first 3-4 months, I couldn't remember what I did last time I loaded ABS or PLA or what brand, because brand specific sometimes. Measure your filament too. There you go. Post it. That's it.
Post-it notes are your friend.
Yeah,
I still do
very
that.
much
I'll
so.
go in my slicer and like modify
so.
profiles as I'm going along, as opposed to like creating new profiles and kind of saving them and keeping them organized. And like I'm sure most of you can attest, if a few weeks passes and you want to like go back to something that you'd done a few weeks ago, the chances of you remembering what you had actually done is almost literally zero.
Profiles are your friend.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they take up no space. So
Yeah, I learned once I started using Simplify 3D, and the same applies for all your slicers. Whether you have one printer or 5 printers, take your initial profile that you get working on that printer when you first get your printer, and the very first successful print you have, save it. Save that profile as your baseline. That way, no matter what you screw up in the future, you can always go back to this and say, well, this worked the very first time I ever used my printer. I've done that already, and it's saved a lot of frustration where I accidentally bumped a setting and didn't realize it.
And I'll add something to that as well. I think for most printers, you'll find there's a group on Facebook that is a community of people with that same printer. For example, Folgertech, TiVo, Prusa, all these companies, I mean, they're not technically official groups, but if you go into the file section of those groups, there's a chance that there's a profile for your particular slicer in the file section. So that can also be a good baseline for you to start. So if you've got a Prusa Mark II, Prusa actually has a beginner slicer or Simplify 3D profile, and it'll get you going, then you can tweak from there. And it's the same pretty much with any printer. You just have to find the file. It's a good place to start.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
all right, well, no, don't everybody jump at the mic here. But yeah, like somebody touched on earlier, it's kind of hard sometimes to strike the right balance because you have to be kind of fearless, but yet not do something stupid. You know what I mean? Like you can't be afraid to try things, but you do have to make sure that you're not going to do something like was mentioned that's actually going to damage your equipment. So you need to like tread frequently but cautiously. Like don't be afraid to try new things, but make sure you do a little bit of due diligence anytime you're going to try something. And I mean, this goes with almost anything in life. Like at least take 30 seconds and Google it. You know what I mean? Like at least take a little bit of time and do a little bit of looking, pull up a video or two and find someone else that has done what you're trying to do and try to get some pieces of advice.
30 seconds. My rule is 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's
If I
probably
can't
better.
figure it out in 30 minutes, then it's time to ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions on the Facebook groups, in the comment sections of us YouTubers. I mean, we try to monitor those as much as possible. And if you ask us questions there, we'll try to get back with you. We're all on Twitter. We're all on Facebook. I think we're all in the Facebook 3D printing forum, whatever it's called, the one that Joel and Dustin were admins on and are no longer admins as of today. They're mods, the big one. But we're all there, so don't be afraid to ask any of us for help or for questions. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is we can tell you we don't know. The best thing that can happen is we can give you the right answer. More realistically, what will happen is we'll point you in the right direction to solving it yourself.
The only caveat I would put in there is it seems that group's getting tired of people asking, like, what's the best printer for $300? So you may just want to Google that first.
I think that joke ran its course today.
So for Lauren, I think you were saying about you give it 30 minutes to try to figure something out. And at that point, you outsource to YouTube, Google, Facebook. Twitter.
Yeah, because I think it's fine. It's nice to be able to ask those questions, but I think if you can figure it out on your own first, you tend to learn a lot more about it, and you can figure out and understand your printer better if you spend that 30 minutes trying to troubleshoot it on your own first. Now, if in that 30 minutes you want to throw your printer out the window, it's probably time to ask the question. But usually in 30 minutes, you can get a lot further on it than you expect that you can. And that way you learn more. And that to me is the important part.
Yeah, what I was going to say with it is all the YouTubers that do live streams, when you watch their chats, almost everybody, if you draw more than 10 people in your chat, and even people who only draw 10 into their stream, everybody gets asked the questions about the cheap printers, the $100 printers, the $200 printers. And don't get me wrong, I mean, my console that I built was $350 or $400. It's a Folgertech console kit that I assembled for my first one. Yeah, Joe's got one right there behind him as well. And he's got the FT5 behind him. They're both cheaper, affordable printers. I think the FT5 is like $500. I bought mine not knowing, I kind of got lucky. I bought it not knowing what kind of support there was out there for it. Matt Gordon with Printed Solid recommended it to me because I wasn't able, and heck, I'm still not able to afford something like the Ultimakers or the Lowell's bots or any of that. I'd love to have one, but they're unobtainable for me. I got it, and I was fortunate enough. There's a good Facebook group to go along with that printer. Your cheaper, the start printer and stuff like that, that's only $100. Nobody really knows much about them because they're just hitting the market. They might be affordable, but they may not be your best option because you may not have people to turn to, especially if that printer doesn't catch on. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it's fine. There are some budget printers that I've heard nice things about, but like I always hesitate to recommend anything I haven't personally tried. So I don't have very good answers when people ask me about that kind of thing. Like I know there's the one from is it Hobby King that was selling them? They're like $175, and most of the people I've seen have had a pretty good experience with those. I mean, they're very limited in the applications they have because of the size, but because I'd like to pick some of those up if I could to try them out. So because it is, I mean, you are right. Like it's a question you get constantly, and I wish I had a better answer for people. Especially when like my printer that I recommend is like a $700 printer, and that's like double or triple like the price range that most of those kind of people are asking you about. So I feel kind of dirty even like thinking of suggesting that to them.
Well, that's why I like going with like the Monoprice Mini. That was what I think $300, which is right in that sweet spot, and it was like, you know, it works. Mine worked right out of the box. I know a lot of people had issues with it off, you know, getting bed warpage and stuff like that, but mine worked right out of the box, and it's a workhorse. I've actually let other friends borrow that printer to get them hooked on 3D printing, and it's just a good printer. It's not the biggest build platform, but I have personal experience with it, like you said. I won't recommend really anything that I don't have personal experience on, but yeah, that would be mine that I recommend most of the time for the $300 mark.
I agree. I throw out the Monoprice Maker Select or the Wanhao, depending on which one's on sale. That's probably one of the best out-of-the-box experiences in that price point.
Yeah, I think like you said, the Monoprice Maker Select Mini, which I haven't had any experience with yet, but the Wanhao duplicator, the i3s, I mean, they're solid. They're good beginners. And I bought a quote knockoff. It's made by, it even says right on it, powered by Wanhao from Micro Center. It's power spec, but it's the duplicator i3 Plus, and I paid $350 for it. I mean, they're not a decent printer. Is not necessarily, you don't have to spend $700 or $1,200 on a printer either.
Wanhao's been updating those fairly regularly too, I believe.
They've been doing pretty good with them. Now I would caution somebody on getting something like the Power Spec Ultra, which is the FlashForge. It looks like a FlashForge creator, but it's actually the Dreamer board in it. So it's got the 32-bit board, which has a proprietary firmware. The only reason I recommend staying away from that one is because PowerSpec is not updating the firmware on that printer, and it's closed source.
Closed source.
whereas-
Boo.
That's a serious
Yeah.
problem. That is a serious problem.
I've got to throw out a shameless plug here for Apyro Designs. What I'm showing you here
There you go.
my CNC H2 that I built during the Race 2 H2 event, and I'm trying to scroll it down so that you can see it. Ignore the mess around it. I'm just kind of trying to hold the camera here, but this is a $500 kit that works, and that you get instructions and manuals that make sense, and it works out of the box. So if you're into the kits, this is a great way to go. And if you want to jumpstart on it, make sure that you enter the Apyro Designs contest before it ends.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That looks like a deceptively large printer. I was thinking, like, as soon as you panned over to that, I was like, holy shit, that's a big printer. But I guess like the vertical build volume is limited a lot by the maximum travel of those blue arms.
It is actually one of the things that's really cool about this kit is it comes with 2 sets of arms. It comes with a long set and a shorter set, the Rostock and the Orion arms. And they're interchangeable. They give you a G-code file that you run off of the SD card, and it basically reconfigures the printer's build envelope so that with the short arms you get a taller platform, but skinnier. Or with the long arms, you get a wider platform or a wider build area, but shorter. And it's just a G-code file to reconfigure it. You pop the arms off, pop them back in. And sorry, I'm trying to get my camera realigned here after moving it. You just pop off the arms, pop them back on, and you're reprinting in a completely different build envelope. So it is deceptively large. And if you wanted it to be even larger, it's standard 1-inch T-slot extrusion. So you can, I think Jacob built it almost 6 feet tall, one of the other builders in the stream. Stock kit just replaced the 3 arms on it and a couple of belts, and he built it 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's the same way with the folder tech. Not as well documented as what the CME CNC. I mean, CME CNC, if you want a printer that's got a good backing behind it for not a whole lot of money, they definitely have a hell of a printer. The folder tech's made the same way. It's expandable. I've thought about doubling the size of mine already. A lot of your Deltos are built on an open platform. Not if you get one of these small little desktop, like the Delta Go and stuff, they're obviously, you've got what you got, or something like the Tico, where they're closed. You're not going to be able to expand that. But any of these kit ones, you can pretty much expand all those.
Yeah, and that's like going back to folder tech. Like I can pull my Delta out real quick, and I kind of preach about it all the time about one of the reasons why I keep going folder tech. Oh my gosh, this thing's a little bit larger in my lap. Yeah, so like, folder tech uses these 2020 extrusion rails, which make, adapting and upgrading really easy, whatever spool holder you want to use. And really, I found the documentation to be not too bad. I was able to get mine built fairly quick. And I don't know if those of you guys who are familiar with Dustin Corbin, but he actually works with Folder Tech, works for Folder Tech. He has a series of videos on how to get this guy calibrated and just like zoned in perfectly. And he actually helped me through chat in getting mine calibrated as well. So again, like we were saying earlier, Facebook support, group support, stuff like that for some of these companies and some of these models is just great. So, and I'd say that's one of the things that I like about Folder Tech. Yeah, but I'm gonna put this back.
Nolan in the chat said the next manufacturer sales pitch for Folder Tech: printer is suitable for lap printing. Real quick, if you guys will let me, I want to jump back up here in the chat. I did see a question I wanted to get to. Shoot, I forget.
I saw a few nonsensical questions that I just kind of ignored, but
yeah, I saw one that I did want to. I don't remember who it was that was asking it. Maybe they'll pipe up in the chat. Somebody was asking. They primarily print PLA. They're getting ready to switch to PETG. and wanted to know what kind of recommendations you guys have for those of you who've printed PETG so far. What's different between it and PLA?
I know one thing: if you have a PEI sheet, don't print directly on it. You're going to have a bad time. If you do have PEI, I found that using a glue stick gives you it breaks the adhesion enough. It'll still stick well, but it's not going to get that like absolute death grip on the PEI sheet that it tends to if you just print straight to it. So that's one recommendation I have. But other than that, I personally haven't had any trouble transitioning from PLA to PETG. It seems to print okay as long as your temps are appropriate for the filament you're using.
Yeah, my one recommendation would be to play with your temps and fan settings to find out what works best, because I found that lowering my fan speed really, really increased the quality of the prints with PETG.
Second that. And one thing that I found with PETG, I usually call it PETG because, Missouri and whatnot. But when I first started printing with it, I was smooshing it on the bed like PLA, and it did not like that one bit. So I raised my nozzle height just a little bit, and it started coming out perfectly. So if you've got the same PLA nozzle height and the PEG is starting to peel up off the bed or getting caught on the nozzle, because it does like to string a lot, and it also, kind of gives these little curl up corners on infills. So, or first layers,
I got to kind of jump in a little bit. I've been doing a lot of PETG. Joe, trust me, you're not the only guy who says it. Printing, and if I'm kind of a build tech junkie, so what I found is, they tell you when you actually get build tech and you're doing like a PLA print to do a cold bed leveling. So you're actually just measuring like 0.2 millimeters with a cold nozzle and a cold bed. And then like they're accounting for the heat to expand. I would actually offset that by at least another 0.1 millimeter if you're using build tack and printing PETG on a build tack sheet. Because essentially you're going to get that death grip just like Nillabean was talking about. It's just a little easier to get that separated. I've found that with a couple of different materials too.
Ninja Flex too. If you print flexible filaments like TPU Ninja Flex with PEI, put down glue, or else you're going to be pulling up Ninja Flex spaghetti.
Yeah, PETG has become, or PETG, I say it too, Mike. The PETG has become one of my favorites to print with, and I print directly on glass with hairspray. I have it in my Simplify 3D profile. I bring it up 0.05 millimeters so that it brings that first layer up just a little bit higher. But I save that in my profile on Simplify 3D, so it's not the setting in the printer's firmware to do that. That way I don't have to readjust the printer, in between. The other thing I've noticed is you have to bump up your retraction anywhere from 25 to 50%, depending on your printer, to be able to avoid that Halloween type stringing, because it can get really bad. And like Lauren said earlier, I've noticed for me, I run my fan the same way. For a pretty print, I run my fan the same way I do with PLA. I started on the third layer and bump it up to about 75% and just let it go. But if I need a strong print, I turn the fan off and just let it adhere together, and it just bonds like crazy.
Yeah, you don't really need a fan for PETG unless you're doing intricate corners and detailed work. But PETG does like heat, so better layer adhesion. Don't use the fan, or if you're going to use the fan, use it like at 25%, very low.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually had it off for most of the prints I've done, but someone in chat suggested that too. Like, I guess it's going to differ machine to machine and like what fan you happen to have for cooling. But 20, you were dead on, like 20-25% seem to be plenty to get nice sharp corners and stuff and details when you need it. But like a lot of the stuff I was putting in PETG was they were functional prints, And I actually got the best results with the fan completely off. You get really good like interlayer adhesion then. And like you do have a little bit of detail loss, but it's not significant. Like it's not like your print's going to look hideous with the fan off. But if you're like me, like having to run the slightly higher bed temp, I've had thermal runaways on the MK2 with the part cooling fan and the bed temp at high. Like it struggles to keep up a little bit, and it'll trigger errors occasionally. But it did help. I don't know if anybody saw the stream I did a few days ago. Yeah, you can't really tell, but we insulated the heat bed with cork underneath, and that actually helped with that a bit, I've noticed.
Yeah, I insulated my first kit that I ever had, which was a Hicktop Prusa clone. And if you can get that bed up to close to 100, then you're a wizard, Harry. But I put cork underneath it and bumped up the PSU just a little bit and got it up to about 105, and that seemed to work fine. But cork, you can get cheap. If like you're US based and you have a Target, they sell cork board decorations. It's like a 12 by 12 sheet of cork in a 3-pack, and you just cut it to size and stick it under your bed. And it's amazing insulator.
If you need larger pieces of the cork, hit up Home Depot or any of your flooring stores. You can get 6mm or 12mm sheets that are, I don't know, I think it was 18 inches by 36. Large pieces, and it's made for underlayment for wood flooring. And it's like $6 a sheet or so for the big piece.
But yeah, it's a really easy project. I didn't think it was going to be all that difficult, and then it ended up being quite a bit easier than I thought. I think half of the additional work I had was because of some of the modifications I'd already done to the machine. So I had some bolt heads and stuff that I had to create cavities in the cork and stuff to kind of fit around, but it wasn't that bad. I think it took maybe 45 minutes, and that's with me like running my gums on stream and stuff. So like a person in their house could probably do that in 20 or 30 minutes, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. It's just on most printers, it's just a matter of pulling up the corner screws, maybe a center screw on the bed, picking it up, cutting your cork sheet to fit, and cutting the holes out pretty much.
There was a caveat on the Hicktop clone that I was working on. The Z in-stop was on the bed, and so they jutted out a piece of acrylic to hit that Z in-stop at the right spot. So I actually had to cut a trench in the cork, so the cork would pass through that acrylic cutout. Poor design, but yeah, you just have to watch, you know, what you're about to run into with your cork.
Yeah, I think, Dick, you had to do that on your stream when you put your cork in. You had to cut a little bit of a trench for the heated bed wires and thermistor ain't.
Yeah, I did have to do that.
Sit flush.
That was probably the hardest part, if you want to call it that, because I got the Dremel out. That's my go-to. I got the Dremel out and like just was like grinding it out, which made it really easy. But I could see that being a little bit of a pain if you don't have a Dremel. You'd end up having to take like utility knife or something and kind of cut yourself a trough through there. But beyond that, it was pretty straightforward. And I've got a lot of questions. Like, it's not a mod that anybody needs to do. It just isn't that hard and has some nice positive benefits. Like when I print PLA now, my bed, like obviously doing like a PID tuning will stabilize your temps, but ever since I did the cork, my bed temp has never moved. Like, it's shocking how stable it is now. It really has had a noticeable effect on it.
I agree with that.
What was it you were grinding the other day, Nilla, that had the really bad smell? Aluminum?
Yeah, I forget what I said that smelled like. It smelled bad. Oh, yeah, it smelled like somebody had like peed on a hot tin roof. Like, that's if you would have blindfolded me and asked me what that smell was, that would have been my immediate response. Like, it smelled terrible.
It's hard to imagine your basis of experience to actually come up with that one.
We live in the country out here. I've smelled some hot tin roofs before.
He's peed on his share of hot tin roofs.
I don't know. You're a roofer in your spare time, and you just don't have the time to actually climb down, or I don't know.
Well, you've got spouting, man. It's equipped to handle liquids. You're fine.
Fair enough. Sorry, ladies. This took a weird turn. My bad.
If anybody in the chat has questions for us, when you're typing your question in, do like a Twitter tag, do @ and our username to try to make it stick out to us so we catch your questions. Because occasionally the chat's moving too quick, you almost miss it.
Looks
You
like we
can
got
ask, don't people have Dremels? I don't know. How many of you guys have a Dremel? Or how many of you folks? We do have
I have
ladies here.
5.
Oh, I've got Dremels.
I have one.
Yeah.
I got 2.
I'm about to bust it out tomorrow to do my. I'm changing a bunch of the Z-axis stuff on this FT5 because right now it uses 2 steppers for the Z-axis and they don't really sync correctly. So I'm about to Dremel the crap out of it. Use 1 Z motor and a belt, like on a, like on a hypercube system or similar, like that. So, yeah.
The only thing I'd recommend with Dremel for anybody who doesn't have one, who's thinking about getting one, go buy yourself a cheap one. You can buy Dremels that are, I swear to God, it's the exact same thing as the $80 or $100 Dremel you buy at your big box store. Go buy a cheaper one. Go to Harbor Freight, or even go to Lowe's and buy, or Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever you got, and buy the house brand. You don't necessarily need to spring the money on a Dremel.
No, I've owned both, and one is not better than the other. The one I use on stream all the time is a WEN, a WEN that I got off of Amazon for $19, and it came with a flexible shaft. It came with like the little kit of accessories and tips and stuff, and like as far as the build quality and stuff, it's not noticeably different from any of the Dremels I've owned that cost like 3 times or more as much.
If anything, it's compatible with more accessories and stuff because they're aftermarket. So they're not just locked to the Dremel branded ones.
Yeah.
My Dremel was a Model 2 until like 2 months ago when I broke it. But like a Model 2, it came in like a steel case and everything. It was so old and it lasted forever until I got a hold of it.
Vicky's got a question from the chat then.
All about cameras.
Yeah, someone was asking what camera we'd recommend for someone who wants to start a channel.
Oh, not my
I'll
camera.
start off. I just use where is it? For my narration stuff, I just use this Canon and, just do the video that way. It's an older Canon, and it does have a time limitation for how long it'll do videos. So like after 12 minutes, it'll kick out. So it not a good vehicle for time lapses. But luckily, I'm not that into time lapses. So, I mean, I'll watch your time lapses, but it doesn't do that much for me. So I don't take much of my own.
I would probably say if you're wanting to just start out, this is your best bet right here. If you've got a relatively modern smartphone, like a Samsung Galaxy 6 Up or an iPhone 6 Up, then the color, the saturation, and the ability to record 1080p is pretty darn good on these things. And I recorded most of my first videos using my S7 before I went up to an actual like DSLR and other stuff like that. But sometimes I go back and look at my older videos and compare like the color to the newer videos. I'm like, man, that cell phone really picked up great color. The one thing I would recommend though is getting a different mic. So you can get like a lav mic like this guy here that plugs into your cell phone, and that will help your audio greatly so you're not using the cell phone. And I still shoot with my cell phone sometimes. So that's a good starter right there.
Cell phones are also really good for time lapses. If you've got an old cell phone and who doesn't have one of those laying around their house somewhere, there are tons of time lapse apps that will allow you to do extended time lapses. And usually it's just sitting there anyway, so you might as well get good use out of it. Plus, if you need like a tripod mount, there's usually ones on Thingiverse you can download. Basically, use what you have.
Exactly.
And if you're an Android
Yeah.
user, Lapsit Pro is a great time-lapse program for Android, if you've got an extra old Android laying around.
Yeah, so Joe was talking about using his camera, Lauren talking about using the camera. Whatever you've got to start on YouTube, because there's a lot of people, if you search 3D printing, you're going to see hundreds of channels that have 3D printing videos. Out of those hundreds of channels, one or two, or most of them, will have one or two videos on it. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to do this, and they want to get started on it. They'll go out. Hopefully they don't go out and they don't buy the $1,000 camera or something like that. I mean, here's my day-to-day phone is my first primary camera because it's the best camera I have as far as mobile phones. My last camera phone, another one, and another one. These three here stay on my desk. These are what I use for all my time lapses. I did buy a GoPro knockoff for $100 that I also use for time lapses, but that's also, I bought that one more to be out and get abused and stuff. When we go to the Outer Banks, I fly kites on the beaches in the Outer Banks, and I strapped my $1,000, at the time when I bought it, $1,000 Nikon D5000 to my kite and take aerial photos. I bought I do that camera because I'm not using my current Sony a6000 that I use to shoot all my processed videos is what I use for. I use the a6000 for my processed videos, where you see me sitting here at the desk. But when you see my overheads or you see my time lapse, all of that stuff is done with a cell phone. Duplicate in the chat said about cell phone phone is junky for your video. It's not an investment if you already have it.
No,
I
he
think
said you're a phone
saying you're a
junkie.
phone junkie.
Oh, I am. That I won't argue with.
You
I'm
just
sorry.
held up like
I
five
misread that.
smartphones. Yeah.
That was just the ones in reach.
What other one did you say you had? Did you say you had an A6000?
I do. I have a Sony a6000. That's my primary camera. Now, let me preface that with my D5000 and my a6000. I bought both of those because before I started doing YouTube, I still do photography. So I had those cameras. I bought both of those cameras specifically because they could both shoot video. But I never actually bought them with the intentions of actually shooting video. It was just the fact that, while I'm spending this money, it can do it. So I bought a camera that could do video. That way I had the option. Now that I'm on YouTube, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I've been using the A6000 has been my primary tripod camera for my it stays on the tripod. And then I've got a Nikon D5100 that I've had forever that I use as a secondary shot camera for close-ups and stuff like that. I will say if you get serious into it and you want to get some really cool shots, invest in a fluid head tripod. Because you can do tilts and pans with fluid heads that are just beautiful and not really janky. And you can get them off Amazon for like $100 some odd bucks. And you can even get a cell phone adapter like this that you can put your cell phone on that same fluid head tripod. And
Or you could print your own.
Yep.
Print it. Don't be buying crap you can make.
Yeah,
I didn't buy it. I got it for free. Lay off me.
Go check out, not to plug myself, but go check out my Thingiverse page. It's a remake. I didn't do the original design, but there's a simple 1/4-20 cell phone tripod mount.
Oh yeah,
It pulls up. It's got a spring built into it, and your 1/4-20 on the bottom of it. The original one on Thingiverse, I think, used rubber bands or something, and people would overstretch them. I actually managed to put springs in and modified it to accept the spring, but this cost me almost nothing. I had the springs laying around. I had the nut laying around. And, the 3D printed stuff was pretty cheap.
I can see already, we're gonna have to do that in one of these upcoming streams. Is we're gonna have to devote an entire one to YouTube. It's it's the equivalent of the $300 printer question. Like, it's something I'm sure some of you guys get asked on a regular basis about equipment setup, like tips. Because my biggest tip is kind of like just with 3D printing. Start, do it. Like, don't put it off because you feel like you don't have the best equipment or like you're not, you know what I mean? Like the best thing you can do is start. Even if like you just have your cell phone and no like lav mic, which you can get a lav mic for $20, it's pretty decent, but just start. There's always the possibility, like someone mentioned, you get on there and there's 2,500 channels that have 2 videos on them. Try it out. It might be the case that you do it and hate it. Like I know a lot of people that have tried to start YouTube and just like it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? It doesn't fit like their personalities or like how they want to go about things and stuff. And if you do end up loving it, like take it slow. Don't like. I've had a lot of hobbies where like, hey, I like this a little bit. And I start dumping money into it. And it kind of changes how you feel about it sometimes because your expectations start to skyrocket with like your investment levels, and you can end up having kind of a bad time if you're not careful about how you approach it.
Actually, Dick, that's a really good point. I mean, part of the reason why my channel's it's at the moment it's been 3D printing focused because it's wintertime, it's cold. We're just getting into the decent part of the spring, although albeit wet. I have the knowledge that I have on stuff because I have a drive to learn new things. If I don't understand something, I study it until I understand it better. That's part of the reason why, I mean, you guys are going to see me do all kinds of stuff. And a lot of times what's got me started in my YouTube channel is a lot of my friends, family, neighbors always wondered what I'm up to next. And they're always asking me, what projects are you doing? So I started doing Instagram. I started out on Instagram posting photos. And I've kind of, since I got on YouTube and got involved on Twitter, I've kind of got a little lazy with Instagram. But start out small and don't invest a lot of money, because if you have a mindset like I do, you've got to devote yourself to something. And if you're the type that just jumps from one thing to the next, YouTube may only be there for a short time period, and you don't want to invest a lot of money that you could into something else.
Yeah.
YouTube's not the only thing out there.
I was in drones for a while. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. Sorry, I got to back it over to Claire. Claire, what do you use to shoot with? You've been pretty quiet over there.
Yeah, so I had to look it up actually. Borrow all of my equipment, so I have like a Panasonic. I'm looking exactly. It's an HP X170, and I think it's a pretty nice camera. And then I have a shotgun mic attached to the top, and that's pretty good setup. And the sound and audio in the room I'm shooting in has nice light, so it works out. But I'm borrowing all of that, so it doesn't cost me anything. If you're just starting out, like all of you have been saying, just use what you have. And I think even if you're shooting on a camera, if you can get some, like, bring in some lamps and like make the lighting nice, and like pick a room that doesn't have weird background noise, and if you can pick a dead room, like things like that make a big difference as far as like your video product goes.
That tip right here.
Hell yeah, man.
If you're just getting started and you need lights, go to Lowe's. These are Lowe's, Home Depot, your local hardware store. These things are like, I think they're like $2, but they're less than $5. So for $5, I've got a dimmable LED in here that's on my SmartThings hub, so I can control it from my phone to brighten and darken it. Watch some of your cheaper LEDs will cause flicker in your cameras, but go get one of these, and even a CFL light or something. A sheet of paper across the front of it will help to knock the light down. PVC with white fabric will help to make yourself a softbox. You put this behind it, a white panel, fabric panel in front of it, and now you've got yourself a softbox for no more than like $10. Be creative.
Here, I can show you real quick.
Sorry, Claire, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
This is what I got going on here in my little studio. I just got a simple softbox kit that had 2 softbox lights off Amazon, and it was it was under $100. So if you find yourself getting into it and starting to buy equipment, these boxes are huge, and produce a lot of light, nice soft light. So Amazon is a good source for that.
Yeah, I
Actually,
got
we
2
soft
soft
boxes today. I'm
boxes
sorry.
for 70.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use the Lowe's lights, man. They're amazing. I tell you what works magic on them is parchment paper. I use 100-watt bulbs and parchment paper over those Lowe's lights, and they do a really, really good job. For maybe $15 or $20 investment for a couple of them.
I posted on Twitter not too long ago. Me and my dog both knocked over my softbox lights, breaking all of my CFL bulbs,
Oh, that sucks.
except for 2 of them. And I work attached to an Ace Hardware store, and they had these 300-watt equivalent LED lights, and they are so bright. They are freaking phenomenal. I only needed 2. 1 for each softbox, and that's it. So, I mean, they were pricey at $40 a bulb, but they will last forever. And when I knock it over, they are screwed together instead of just snapped together so they don't break.
So Lauren, your CFLs that came with your softboxes, were they like that big?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the 45 watt.
Yeah, crazy.
So the 45 watt CFL bulbs are the equivalent of a 200 watt incandescent. So getting the 300 watt LED equivalent was actually somehow brighter than the original lights that came with the softbox. It was weird, but it's awesome because I only needed 1 in each instead of 4 in each.
Yeah, that is one of the things to watch when you are getting LEDs and CFLs. When you're comparing those to an incandescent and the wattage rating on those versus the brightness is different than incandescent. Incandescent, if you put 35 watts in, you were going to get almost the same brightness out of a clear bulb. You're going to get the same brightness. With the LEDs and CFLs, the wattage doesn't necessarily equate to brightness.
Right. You have to pay attention to whether it's daylight and where it falls on the scale.
Yeah,
get daylight. You don't want to be looking yellow with your
color
lights on.
temp's a big
Daylight bulbs are the best.
You also have to set that relative to the paint color of the room or the environment that you're shooting in too, though. If you're shooting in a room that has off-white walls, you're going to want a different color bulb than you would in a pure white room.
Yeah, white balance on cameras. That's a big thing. Check your white balance.
Yeah, adjust it. Here's a question. This is completely unrelated to anything that's been talked about, and it was at me, but we'll open this to anybody. It was Nillabean. Have you tried to 3D print some shoes? Has anyone here printed some shoes?
I think Lauren's got something to say about that one.
Lauren has aspirations, yeah.
It's happening. I'm still researching, but it is going to happen. And they are going to be freaking awesome, and they're going to have interchangeable heels, and I'm super excited, and I'm going to wear them everywhere.
I was talking to my wife about printing some heels. I know Naomi Wu, Sexy Cyborg, she's printed some shoes, and I was talking to my wife the other day. She hates when I talk to her about any of this stuff. I was talking to her about printing some heels as kind of like a gag thing and do... they wouldn't be interchangeable, but I was thinking of taking some NES zappers and mocking them up and having those as like the heels in them.
Yeah,
and have a video for like strutting around in those.
My Mini Factory, somebody has done a couple of different versions of heels with funky heels on them. But they're not, to me, like actually wearable heels, and I want something that I will actually wear, so I'm going to make it.
Lauren, Travis from Empire Design said in the chat, somebody needs to design pink heels for Joel. I think you should be the one to do that. I think if you design them, he'll shoot a video about it.
All right,
I'll see if
I can make that happen.
If you send them to him, he'll wear them.
He will wear them.
It'll be worth your time.
And that'll be his most popular video ever.
If I could do it before Maker Faire and bring them with me, but it's not, I don't have time.
And Dick, I think that you should go ahead with your heel option. I think you'd look great in heels, man.
I love doing stupid stuff like that. Like, I'm not at all afraid to make myself look like an idiot for other people's entertainment, and that seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
On a practical side of the shoes, I've actually thought I wear work boots all the time. I very rarely ever wear my sneakers. I either wear work boots or cowboy boots all the time. I've been kicking the idea around. I've got a big sample pack of Ninja Flex, and I've been thinking about printing insoles for my boots. Because then I've never found ones I like, but this way, like if a spot seems low or seems high, I can try to tweak it. Who knows? I may make my foot hurt like crazy by doing it.
There'd be a lot of people that'd be interested in seeing that video and seeing how they hold up and stuff. That would be something that I'd watch.
Especially for me, I'm always wearing my shoes, my boots, and I do a lot of walking in them.
Print them out, wear them for a month, and see what's left of them at the end of 30 days.
Yeah.
Kind of related to shoes, I've actually run into more than one person that is using 3D printing for horseshoes.
I saw that. That looks
I
interesting.
saw that too.
Like actual horseshoes, like for the horse?
Yeah, like replacing the old, cast iron shoes with ones that have a little bit of squishiness to them. Easier on the horses, easier on the roads.
Interesting.
There was actually a company, I think it was like Adidas or Nike or something, and it wasn't like a normal 3D printer like any of us are used to, but for one of their shoe lines, they had actually went to it was an FDM process where they had a big flat basically sheet of metal and they printed out the designs, and the shoe was like this kind of tough flexible material that would print flat and then wrapped up around and laced over like a kind of conventional like sewn cloth foot cover. That was like a month or two ago. I remember seeing that, but I remember reading an article about that. Was it Nike? I think Just in Time said it was Nike.
Nike was one of the ones early on talking about 3D printing shoes, and they were the ones preaching the whole 3D printing shoes in home. You go and pay them for the model and then turn around and print it, as looking into the future as 3D printing becomes a more in everyone's house type of deal.
I think Mike Coles in the chat was asking for tips on printing flexible filament through a remote or Bowden extruder.
I got this. Don't.
Guys, have tips.
I'm going to counter Joe. Joe, have you tried it on your console?
I haven't tried it on the console. However, I know it can be done because Monoprice Select Mini, I see people printing flex on it all the time, and it's a Bowden setup technically. You just have to make sure that your extruder is like well sealed,
Exactly.
That's basically what it boils down to. If there's no back pressure there, it just builds up and builds up in the extruder, and
yeah. So I'll give you guys a little bit of my history with flexible. Now, I haven't done a lot with it, but what I have done has actually worked after I tweaked things. So I had my Folgertech console, which I still have the stock hot end on it. That hot end leaves a lot to be desired. There's a lot of gaps internally in that hot end. Just kind of, I shouldn't say gaps, but voids in there. That flexible filament likes to just kind of like get itself in there and then just start piling up. The extruder is the same way. The solution that I found for that, I can print flexible filament on that printer now at about 55 to 60 millimeters per second, which is pretty fast for flexible. What I did is I took it apart. I inspected everything. Anywhere there was a gap, I tried to put Teflon tube in place. Now, for somebody who's just getting into it, if you haven't torn down your hot end and an extruder yet, this may not be for you. This isn't something you want to experiment with the first time you're tearing that stuff down. But try to fill any of your gaps, like your Flexion extruders, the E3D, the new one that they have for flexible. I forget the name of it. I think is it the Aero. If you look at those, what they're doing is they're filling the gaps. So there is very little areas where you can see the filament pass through without looking through like a semi-clear tube or something. The other key to it is when you're learning to do it, whether you've got a setup to do it or not, is start out slow. Don't try to print as fast as you print PLA or ABS. Print it slowly, 10, 20 millimeters per second to start.
Yeah, even when you get flex filaments down, I've been printing flex filaments for a while via direct setup. I still only will print it at about 25 to 30 tops. It's better that way in my opinion. But again, some people might get away with going 40 or 50 on that.
Yeah, I can do it. I don't regularly do that. It was just kind of a how fast can I push it without binding it up. My Wanhao, I bound up 5 feet of filament in the extruder. I have no idea where it piled up at before I made adjustments to it. But when I pulled it back out, I mean, it was longer than I could stretch my arms. What I pulled out of my extruder.
Yeah, the only one I've attempted and successfully printed faster regularly is the Cheetah Flex. That one's meant to go faster.
Cheetah Flex is a little stiffer than regular Ninja Flex, isn't it?
Right, yeah. But it's meant to print at 60, so that's what I've printed. I actually printed at 80 to test it, and it still printed. I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very good quality print, but it did print.
Scientific
For science.
The best way to learn what your printer can do is to play with it. If something works, try to push the limit a little bit more, and figure out where your limits are. That's the best thing to figure out to master. I would say, as far as any of us probably have, we've mastered what we have in 3D printing by experimenting with it.
Absolutely.
Dare the experiment. Have a use case of that just recent. I was printing houndstooth, like making a big old chain of houndstooth where I'd pause the print and put in split rings. And I grew the chain by taking the previous printed versions and putting it in place there too. This is hard to describe. Maybe this isn't a best example. But the first time I laid the finished print down on my print bed with the print that's in progress, I noticed that it was indeed higher than the print in progress. And I thought, oh man, that's not going to work. The nozzle is going to hit it. But you don't know for sure unless you dare the experiment. And it turns out that my clearances were just high enough that it could print and seal the old print into the new print. Yeah, I'll try to illustrate that better in a future video.
Okay, so for anyone interested, I think I have everybody's links in the description. So if anybody's curious to have any of those, if you refresh the video, it should update the description, and you guys can double check that I have your info correct. But I think I have everyone listed there and linked to the appropriate place, hopefully. So that should be there for anyone who wants it.
Back to the flexible stuff real quick. Aaron York made a good point. Oh, crap. Now I just drew a blank on their name. Color Fab has Engine Flex, which has Engine Flex, which is a stiffer, flexible filament. It's definitely not rubbery like Ninja Flex is, but that is an option for you if you can't print something like Ninja Flex or Semi Flex. It's closer to a Semi Flex or a Cheetah Flex. And the other thing, I saw a question. I kind of gave my answer in the chat. Somebody was asking about whether we all print in our Reese's Pieces was asking, do you guys only print in your garages or basements, or do you print inside of your house? More so, how importantly is ventilation for 3D printing in your opinion?
I'm currently in my office / studio in my house printing on the Mark II. I print on the FT5 behind me and the console wherever it ends up. The only time I'd say I really worry about ventilation is when I print ABS or polycarbonate. You really need to go ventilation with that. So that's an enclosure's about to hit this guy right here with proper ventilation that goes out the window when I do more volatile chemicals. It's not that you can't print ABS at home inside the home. It's just that the smell is not really the greatest. So it's like you get that sweet smell with PLA. With ABS, you get that, okay, what plastic is on fire smell. So
yeah, the opinions of like ABS and some of the, so to speak, smellier filaments, I think you're going to find everybody's opinion varies wildly on that. Almost everybody will say PLA. Ninja Flex for me has a slight odor to it, not much, but I saw Reese's Pieces said thanks for the comments I had about it and about us answering the question. I just had last year, my second daughter was born in April. She'll be a year old here in a couple weeks. I printed all throughout my wife's pregnancy. I know a lot of people are concerned with that. I pretty much had my printer running nonstop the first year I got it. If it was done printing, I was taking something off and putting something on the printer. Never did I really have much of a concern at all about ventilation need. And that's coming also from having a background as a firefighter. One of the biggest reasons why firefighters wear breathing apparatus is not so much because of just regular smoke. It's because of the smoke from all the plastics and stuff that we have in our house. But there, your concern is you're burning that plastic. Whereas with the printer, all you're doing is heating it up to its melting point, not its burning point.
You're not catching it on fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you burnt PLA and inhaled it, I guarantee you're going to be coughing.
Matt, if I can interrupt you really quick there. In the chat, Global Print Initiatives said smell equals danger.
That is a very good point.
That is not always correct. A lot of PLAs will smell like sugar melting or brown sugar. PETG has no odor whatsoever, and it's kind of unknown, what particulates PETG puts out since it's recycled. Theoretically, ABS stinks like the dickens, but smell does not necessarily equal danger. Smell just equals something happening.
Right, not to mention
CO2 would be like the
all
stereotypical example.
smelling ones.
Yeah, the cinnamon smelling ones. And,
Oh, so good.
and remember that like carbon monoxide is the silent killer, and it is odorless. So you can't always go by smell alone.
The reason I said about that being a very good point is there are some people who are a little bit more sensitive, I'd say, than the average person to odors.
Yeah.
There is some credibility in the smell is bad, but yeah, if smell was bad, man, there'd be a whole lot of things. I remember one of the things I learned in science class in high school was if you smell something, in order for you to smell that thing, you had to introduce part of that thing into your body. So if you smell the roses, you've now got parts of the roses in your body in order to smell it.
You got roses in your head, man.
Yeah, you got roses.
You smell them.
So, there is some credibility to that. There are people who are super sensitive to smells that may irritate them, and it's something to be aware of. Unfortunately, it's not something most of us can answer because most of us don't have any experience with that part of it.
Yeah,
I would definitely err on the side of caution. Like, if you have the ability to ventilate your area, do it. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like in my basement, it would take a fairly significant time and money investment to really ventilate this area. Luckily, it's fairly open. I do have that going for me, but in general, if you have a way to easily ventilate, do it. Like don't even really think about it. The first time I printed with ABS, like it varies brand to brand. Same with PLA. I printed a PLA the other day that I'm to the point now where I don't really smell PLA, and I smelled that PLA for some reason. It was like extra sweet, and I could smell it, but the first time I printed with ABS, it didn't really stink that bad. I had put it off for a long time because I was worried about the smell, and it didn't stink, but it really irritated my sinuses after about 30 minutes or so. Like my sinuses and throat are kind of sensitive, and after about 30 or 40 minutes of printing with it, I started to get like a scratchiness in my throat. Luckily, it wasn't a long print, but
what's really crazy is I think we developed tolerances to all these smells the longer we're around them, like you're saying. The last time that I smelled PLA, like actually smelled it, was at the Midwest Rep Rap Festival in the Part Daddy, that huge castle that went all the way to the ceiling. It was pumping out PLA in 4mm extrusion. So like you get over there and you get a whiff of it and you're like, whoa, it's like the first time.
I also think it's important to note that you can tell the difference between something going wrong and the smell of that versus the smell of melting ABS.
Yeah.
Because at the Midwest Rep Rap, somebody behind my table, all of a sudden, all of us turned around and looked in one direction because you smelled burning plastic. I don't know what it ended up being. They shut off the machines that were right behind me, and I don't know if there was melting wires. I have no idea, but it smelled horrible. So
was there electronics at that one?
That was the F1 car.
I don't know what it was, but it was awful. So
I'm sorry.
keep in
Sorry
mind
for
that you will
laughing
be
at
able to
earlier.
smell the difference between the smells of your filaments and the smell of a machine going wrong.
Yeah, and it's all about tolerance for person to person to person. Some people might be able to sit in a room with ABS all day, and then other people might, you know, get one whiff of it and be like, no, headache, what? You know, so yeah, just whatever is comfortable for you. Just don't hover over your printer and huff it.
That's actually a really valid point, because I could sit in a sealed up garage spray painting all day and it doesn't bother me. But if I walk in the house and the wife is painting her nails, the smell drives me crazy. Yet it's the same chemicals, but somehow it gets you and drives you crazy.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't, you know, stay in your garage and spray paint all day.
So what about you, Claire? Do you have you printed with ABS or anything like that? Or are you still on the PLA train, or what's going on with you?
I work in a lab, which is how I have access to all these 3D printers, and we just only have PLA right now. I've been debating what I want to buy. Like, I definitely want to buy the wood filament, but apparently now there's glitter filament that I just learned about. So at some point, I'm going to buy some cool new filaments and try them out, but I have to get them myself. So
Protopasta glitter filament. It's like, I don't have it around right now, but it's some weird.
Oh, I have some. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some in my maker box, but I haven't actually.
That's where I got mine. Was in the maker box.
I mean, also flexible filament would be like the smart thing to buy, because I feel like you can make different things with that, but it's not as cool.
There is one of the glitters.
Oh wow.
And I was so opposed to the glitter filament because I absolutely hate glitter.
It's amazing, though. It doesn't go everywhere.
What is wrong with you? What's wrong with glitter, man?
That's why. I mean, my thing with glitter was always that it got everywhere. I mean, like Anakin Skywalker hates sand because it gets everywhere. I hate glitter because it gets everywhere.
But this doesn't. It's amazing. It's the best of both worlds.
Dude, you're really going to bring up that movie? I mean, really?
I'm sorry. The only reference I can think
there's
of.
no excuse for that, dude. No.
The Protopasta glitter fill is the only glitter allowed in my house. Period.
There's other ones, though. There's lots of other glitter filaments out there.
Well, okay, I won't argue that. The glitter filaments, as long as the glitter does not come out of it, it's allowed in my house. If
Second
it
that.
has glitter on the exterior of it, forget it.
So, quick, like metaphorical show of hands here. How many of you are currently subscribed to the, what am I trying to say? MakerBox.
I got it.
Oh yeah, is that worth it? Because I was debating if I wanted to
Absolutely.
subscribe to that. Yeah,
It's totally worth it.
Okay.
Except for in my case, I have a drawer over here full of everything from October till now.
Yeah,
Because
I've got
I procrastinate. I don't want to waste my sample, and they give you a decent sample. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to waste it.
It's like 50 grams on average for the sample sizes, with the exception of like the bronze fill. There was like 140 grams or so of that in the box.
I'm about to find out. I'll say that much about how they decide how they're doing it. But I suspect I'll find out here soon. Hopefully, I suspect they do it on length, not weight.
They do it on length. They just do the approximation of the weight as a ballpark, and they say it's approximately 50 grams ABS weight. So you even get a little bit of discrepancy there with the PLAs and the exotics. I will say with MakerBox though, I'm the same way. I've got tons of these filaments that I have not tried, but there's always one filament in the box I'm like, I have to print this now. So like there was a carbon fiber, some kind of carbon fiber composite. Oh, yeah. I think I might have you beat actually.
You probably do.
I have an entire Rubbermaid container full of samples.
Yeah.
But I am going to be subscribed to that soon.
Yeah,
Like,
MakerBox
is not too bad. Protopasta is pretty good for selling samples at a reasonable price, and they're accessible. But a lot of other companies don't do that, and it's kind of nice to have access to them in small amounts to try them out without like having to commit to like a whole roll. But I've already found like all kinds of filaments that I love through the MakerBox. Like Omni, has anybody printed with Omni?
Oh my gosh, I love Omni.
I have it. I just
Omni's
haven't.
fantastic, and I got that through my MakerBox, and I probably would have never bought a roll of that as just like a shot in the dark to try. But now that I've tried it, it's like one of my favorite filaments.
See, I'm a hoarder. Anytime I get great samples and it's just the most awesome looking filament in the world, I stick it in a drawer thinking I got to find the right project to try it on.
Yeah, don't
That's
do that. Just print with it and then go buy a spool of it.
Yeah,
Don't be
when
shy.
you
Get 2 subscriptions, man. You have your test box and then your actual like this is for serious projects box.
My first unboxing video that I did for MakerBox, I accidentally ordered 2 that month. It was the first month I subscribed. So I had 2 of them come. The first one, I ripped it open when it came, and then I videoed it the second one as if I had never opened it before.
NLTMW said that the shipping outside the US is kind of steep, but they have transitioned to like that, I think it's bi-monthly to help you save on shipping. I think you get like 8 samples every 2 weeks or every 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
They're coming up on their 1-year anniversary too, which is crazy.
Yeah. And the one cool thing that I found out talking to those guys was Printed Solid actually is the ones who like prepare everything. So like MakerBox and Printed Solid are like that. So they have some a really good company behind them, because Printed Solid is a great company, and Matt's a great guy. So like just and Nick Moretto, who's the kind of the brainchild behind MakerBox, is just a great guy too. He'll answer emails if you send him emails. So good.
Yeah, there is a MakerBox Facebook group too. For those of you who have the subscription and haven't seen it yet, there is a MakerBox Facebook group, and they're trying to each month get everybody to post what they made with their samples.
Someone just
Don't
opened
forget to
a
check
beer.
your bags and stuff too. I'm still drinking.
Yeah,
my
that
beer.
was me. I was trying to
Someone just opened a new one.
Here?
no, that was.
Don't forget to check your bags too. They used to like I've noticed that initially, like I started I think in October or November was my first, and there used to be a lot more coupons and stuff in the box because I actually used a lot of them. I think the first month I got it, the box was like $17. It's more than that now, but I think it was like $17, and I used $25 worth of coupons that were included. So it's definitely worthwhile. But check your little sample bags. There's frequently coupon codes on there for the companies that filament is from. So it's definitely worthwhile in my opinion. Like I said, the price has been creeping up a little bit every month. It's
up to 19
cents there, but overall I think it's still a good value. There's been a boring month or two where it's like just different types of PLA, but for the most part there's like Joe said, for the most part there's usually like one filament in there that you're like, oh man, get out of my way. I'm gonna print this like immediately.
Dick, do you have a referral code for your MakerBox for the discount for people to get the? I think it's 15% or something like that off your first box. Plus, you get a discount too.
I do probably. I should be like all of us should be doing that on our channels.
They have a
pretty good referral program.
They do.
I did mine on my MakerBox review. I've got my referral code on my MakerBox review. And every now and then I hand it out, but
I'm horrible about handing mine out. I've had one for 3 months now. Nick gave it to me, and I just keep forgetting to hand it out. But I didn't want to. I figured since you're streaming, they're hosting the stream. If you want to have one and want to give it out, go for it.
Oh no, it's fine. If any of you guys have one that you want to put out, I'm not too worried about it.
We can all give ours out, and then whoever you want to support.
Popularity contest and go.
Yeah. If you guys do one, I'll give mine out. Mine is my channel name. It's How I Do It, no spaces.
Mine is just 3DKC, and I'll put it in the chat.
And if you forget that, think about barbecue.
NLTMW said he's about 20 minutes from the U.S., so he has a mailbox here. That's not a bad plan. That probably saves you a ton of money on shipping for a lot of things.
We actually work with a company that's just across the border in Canada, and they have the same thing. They've got a huge facility on both sides of the border so that they can work on both and transfer things back and forth without having issues.
Because I
I
sell
know
on
so
eBay
many people
still,
up there that do that.
and shipping to Canada is like way worse than you expect it to be.
Oh, duty and all that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
shipping to
duty.
Canada is pretty bad. Has anyone ever shipped anything to Brazil? Oh my God, 100% import tax.
I was going to say, yeah. Somebody said that's 100%.
100%. Oh my God.
Have you ever shipped to Australia?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Australia's pretty bad. It's like, all right, I'm going to ship this out. You'll see that in about 3 months, depending on how much you want to spend on shipping.
Yeah, I did some giveaway. What was that? I think I gave away a Raspberry Pi starter kit during my Octoprint series, and the winner of that was in Australia. So I was looking up prices for shipping the starter kit, and it was twice the price of the starter kit. So I ended up buying a starter kit from a company in Australia and just shipping it to them. And I was like,
can I just PayPal you the cash and you buy one?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we've got family in Japan. My wife's from Japan. We've found it's cheaper, rather than paying the shipping in the U.S., to send it COD and let them pay the shipping at that end via the Japanese post office. Their shipping is cheaper than doing it from here. It's stupid.
Just looking for questions in the chat.
Yeah, most of the guys are just like kind of participating with what we're talking about, not asking many questions.
Yeah, everybody. We have a lot of other YouTubers and content creators in the chat as well.
That's why I said one of these weeks we're gonna have to do a stream that's 100% dedicated to YouTube and the inner workings and stuff.
My buddy Anthony
like...
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. Go ahead, Joe.
I was like, my buddy Anthony is watching this stream, and I've been fidgeting with the fidget spinner, and he just texted me and said, "Are you fidgeting, Joe?" I'm always fidgeting, Anthony. You know that.
They're so addictive. I've said I thought they were stupid at first before I printed one, and then I printed a couple, and I'm to the point now where I'm wondering how long it's going to take me to wear it out. Like, how long till this bearing just fails? Because I've got some time on this bad boy already.
Is that your brass one?
Yeah, this is the bronze fill.
The bronze one. Okay.
They feel so great in the hand. Oh my God.
I need to do a metal one.
I just got some of that bronze fill. I'm super excited.
Did you get it in the maker box?
No.
You got it free.
I got it from Printed Solid, from Matt over at Printed Solid when I was at Midwest Rep Rap.
Murph.
So I'm really excited to try it out.
It's so easy to print with. You basically throw it in the machine and act like you're printing PLA.
Nice.
I mean, it's so effortless. All the metal fills are more or less like that, which is so surprising to me.
Hard nozzle.
I think the first one was stainless. Yeah. I don't have a hard nozzle, but I do have 3.4 millimeters. And whenever I print this stuff, I switch in one of my junk ones, and it still prints okay.
Somebody was just talking about they ran a boatload of bronze fill or brass fill through their nozzle. Brass will erode brass. And I think bronze will erode brass as well. But somebody was just saying about they ran a boatload of it through their printer, and their nozzle is almost the same size. Now, I think to some extent that depends on the grade of your nozzle, because like the original nozzle that came in my Folgertech Hassel, I ran Weed Whacker trimmer line through that, which is nylon with fiberglass backer, and just printed a 10 by 10 calibration cube and already took it from a 0.4 up to a 0.65. And I measured it before and after, and that was the difference with that fiberglass. It just ate it up.
Yeah,
but that could be the quality of the brass.
Micro Swiss just sent me one of their regular plated and then the brand new A2 to try out. So I'm gonna torture the crap out of this A2 and see if I can ream it. But they told me at Murph that this A2 hardened nozzle will stand up to anything that I throw at it. So I'm going to hold them to that.
Yeah, you won't be able to cut through that. I've got an A2 on my my F3DPCH, and I mean I've had it there for a year, and it's gone through everything.
Okay, so
Hey, Brian
you guys
Weber in
have.
chat asked
Oh,
if
sorry.
anybody uses the Ruby nozzle. I don't know. Someone in my chat said they had ordered one the other day.
I know
'Cause-
somebody said Joel's got one that he's going to be
I said
reviewing.
that's like the most bourgeois item I think I've ever seen someone buy.
Gold-plated nozzle.
Yeah.
I want one, just to say I have one.
The only thing that compares is my friend has a notebook that's like hand bleached and cut paper that's hand sewn into a leather bound thing. And like that's like the equivalent of the Ruby nozzle to me.
I
It's
want
like
the Ruby nozzle on
so
it.
high end.
I want it on a chain. My birthday's in July, so that's our birthstone. I just want to kind of leave it dangling there.
Exactly. I would feel dirty putting it in my machine.
Yeah.
I just would like someone to like do an actual, like, you know, Tom is really good at doing a, you know, very technical side-by-side comparison of two things. And I'd really like to see him test the Ruby next to like a traditional hardened nozzle over the course of months and see is the Ruby worth the price
Like
they're
Aaron
asking.
said,
Yeah.
a Ruby is 90 approximately, and you can buy tungsten for approximately $25. So you can buy basically 4 tungsten nozzles for the price of a Ruby one. And I haven't seen any testing done, but I would be dumbfounded if that Ruby would last as long as 4 tungstens would.
But
Justin
it's not as
in
pretty.
It is
Justin in
pretty.
the chat said Ruby nozzles are like gangsta grills for your printer.
They're the gold teeth of the 3D printing world. Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's doing cubic zirconia or fake diamond or diamond chip.
Yeah.
It's true.
What is the
I need it
added
in my
advantage
birthstone. I got a sapphire one.
besides wear? What's like the thermal transfer properties of Ruby or the tungsten ones? Because like you hear, so for those of us who can't afford the rubies and stuff, we've got our brass nozzles, you've got plated nozzles, and then stainless steel. Everybody recommends staying away from stainless steel because it doesn't transfer heat as well. What's the tungsten and the ruby? Does anybody have a clue what the transfer rates are like on that?
Thermal
I wouldn't
properties?
imagine tungsten would be
Thermal
good.
properties, not transfer rate. Yeah, I'm sorry, thermal property.
Tungsten, I imagine, would be okay. That's like a total just shot in the dark, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ruby kind of had some problems with thermal transfer.
Yeah,
it's
I can't see
basically-
a gem being that, that great at transferring heat. I could be wrong, though. I know gems are formed by heat.
Yeah.
Quick question in the math specific for Joe Mike. If your Ruby nozzle clicks 3 times, do you wake up in Kansas?
Unfortunately, I wake up, well, not unfortunately, I love Missouri, but I wake up in Missouri then drive to Kansas. There's no heel clicking involved, but there is a lot of cursing in traffic.
See, Joe, you need 2 ruby nozzles.
Ulysses
Click,
says
click.
that Diamond has the best. What is that? Diamond transfers heat better than any other element.
Really?
I don't know if that's true, but someone did say it on the internet, so you know how that
It
goes.
has to
guys.
be true.
Must be
Saw it on
true.
the internet.
Someone needs to put that on a Wikipedia page, and it's official.
Aaron linked a heat transfer chart.
Oh, there you go. Hey, real quick, back to the maker box. For those of you guys who
It's
got it.
amazing. Holy crap. That is what the thermal conductivity number, higher is better. Brass is at 120, stainless is at 20, tungsten's at 167, which is better than brass. Diamond is at 2300.
Holy crap.
Wow. I would not have guessed that. Learn
All right, so
something
who
every
wants
day.
to throw down the money to make that?
There you go.
Now, is that just
Lauren's
like
blinging
standard
out the-
diamonds, or does that also, take into account like man-made diamond?
Like cubic zirconia.
Yeah.
That doesn't process right. That seems wrong.
I
Are you
think
trolling, Aaron? Are you trolling us with this chart?
probably. He probably just like did a Google Doc real quick and published it. So real quick, back to the maker box. You guys got bronze fill or brass fill, whichever one. Which month was that in?
Bronze fill was in this last month, wasn't it?
I can check quick.
Bronzeville came out in the Pleistoic ages, I think.
Yeah. I'm just curious because I just went through all mine and I can't find my bronze. You guys keep talking about it and I keep looking for it.
It could have been the month before.
I have all those too.
I
I got all the way
remember.
back to October.
I don't know if anybody had the package. It's February.
Okay. I'll have to
I
look.
was way off.
I got wood this last month.
Yeah, we did.
Wood's good.
Sorry, I wasn't supposed to announce that yet. Sorry.
Hatchbox wood.
Yeah.
That stuff. We're talking about fumes earlier. With the Hatchbox wood, I used to have a drape over my printer as a poor man's enclosure, and that Hatchbox wood. As soon as I smelled it for the first time, I like put my head underneath the drape and just was like, oh, that stuff smells great.
I'm partial to the smell of wood. My family's in the lumber business.
I like wood.
I can actually tell different species of oak apart by their smell. If you can believe that. You grow up around it long enough, you acquire these superpowers.
Vicky's got a question from the chat then too.
Come across any large barnwood set aside for me?
All right, the question from the chat. This has been a while ago. I think it was Mike Cole. He wanted to know, does anybody fuse their leftover filament rolls? He doesn't have a filament sensor yet, so he has spools with just a few dozen yards on them, and he wanted to know how people are using up their remnants. On that, I actually used up some remnants, about 8 or 9 rolls. Just the past week, I got an order for 100 coasters, and they said they didn't care what the colors were. So, I had tons of spools with just a little bit left. So those are colors that I chose for coasters. And I do have someone sent me a filament sensor. I haven't installed it yet, but I telecommute and I print in my office. So, I just watch when it's about to end the filament. I pause it and switch to a full roll and let it go. So I purged it. It was like an enema of all the extra filament I had around.
I make keychains with mine. All my aside from the Protopasta matte samples that I used up for keychains, I used all like remnant spools.
I keep all my short stock around for when I do like quick color changes on height layers. So if I've got if I'm printing out like a keychain that has a single bottom layer and then the lettering on top of the keychain's a different color, I'll usually save the smaller remnants for the lettering. That way I maybe have this much left after I'm done.
I have a 3D printing pen. That's one of the ways that I'll use it up. Usually, like on my Delta, it's a Bowden. The Tivo Tarantula is a Bowden as well. I have
do that.
Every once in a while. I will take and just cut the filament off if I need to put it on another printer because I want that color or that material. I'll just take and snip it and leaves like 2 feet of filament. So my daughter's got the 3D printing pen that occasionally I'll use for joining prints or filling in imperfections in prints and stuff. Like my Shore Trooper helmet, I use that a lot for a few imperfections and filling some gaps and stuff. That's how I use mine up. I have a drawer full of it. If I have anything over about a foot, I'll throw it in the drawer, and my daughter knows that's where she can go to get some filament for the pen.
How do you like the 3D pen? I know Heather in chat, I guess, has one too. She actually beat you to they're good for 3D pens. She said that about 15 seconds before you did. How do you like that thing? I've been curious about them. 2 questions, 2-parter here. How do you like it? And how much did it cost?
Okay, so I'll start with the easier one. It costs $15 at Micro Center.
Holy crap! I thought
they were
way more than that.
So this is the only thing I would ever buy from this company. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. Can you see that? It's backwards.
EXYZ? Is that what it says?
Yeah, so read it backwards. Not E. There's XYZ.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Right set up, Dust.
The printer company is who this is actually from. Micro Center had them. I don't think they even stock this one anymore. But it was $15 when I bought it. And it works good. It says PLA on it. I've run ABS through it. I've run polycarbonate through it. I don't know what the actual temperature is at that hot end, but it works. Now, the reason why I said the price is the easier answer, if you talk to somebody like Matt Gordon at Printed Solid, he'll tell you he hates 3D printing pens. At least he would tell you that a few months ago. I don't know if he still has the same opinion. He doesn't like them because of the fact that people are going out, they're buying $100. This is all before the $100 like start printer and stuff like that. But people are going out buying 3D printing pens going, oh, I don't need a printer. I can just get the pen and use that because it's cheaper. And the quality is nowhere near, obviously, nowhere near a CNC precision machine.
I can't imagine. I don't know why people like. I could not sit down and print like something like this crossbow with a freaking pen.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't know how people would come to the conclusion that they get by with it.
In the chat, we're mentioning Chelsea, Chaos Cortex wife. She's got a 3D printing pen, and she is doing some of those most amazing things I've ever seen with a pen. And she's only had it for like a couple of days and is already doing amazing things with it.
Yeah, especially you can adjusting it up.
Yeah, you can do very, very cool things with it. I can't, but you can. And yeah, Chelsea's doing some amazing stuff. I'm looking here real quick. I think it's just called 3D Printing Pen or 3D Pen on YouTube is another channel. 3D Pen Lab is the name of it. I'll link it in the chat or give it to Dick to post.
I've always thought they were cool because I thought they were cool because there's already a bunch of channels that are basically focused on them, and I thought the coolest part was that they appeal particularly to like young girls and women who kind of like already do some like craft things, and this is like they're kind of like half step into 3D printing, which is kind of cool because they're helping expand the community without actually getting, well, I guess that's part of the drawback too, is it's expanding the community without people actually buying printers. So yeah, I guess that's like a double-edged sword, because if they have a bad experience with that, there might be people that like take, get a negative opinion of 3D printing because they're associating the pen with like the printers too closely.
And that, yeah, Heather just said that in the chat, and I agree 100%. And I'm pretty sure this is like where Matt Gordon's opinion comes from. You can't compare a 3D printing pen to a 3D printer. The only comparison is they use the same materials. That's
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, Joel's video the other day where he was testing.
Way to make it sexist. Come on now.
Where Joel was testing all the different adhesives with the two blocks with the butt joint.
Yeah.
3D printed, using the 3D printed pen to do a friction weld versus super glue. I think that came out in the top two. So
it is. Yep. Super glue and the 3D printing pen.
Yeah, I don't know how many people have looked at that, but that is a great alternative.
It can be, because I tried, and on my coffee table, because the joints were so far apart, the plastic was cooling down too quickly that I couldn't, like for friction welding, I couldn't get into the tight corners, and to use the pen as glue, it was cooling down too fast before I had a chance to stick the sides together. So it will work in some circumstances, but not in others.
Yeah, you've got to have like butt joints. You have to have two pieces butted up against each other, and you have to be able to get to the seam of it. Like Lauren said, if you're trying to reach in a nook and cranny with it, or you can't apply it like glue and then stick them together. Like she said, it just cools down way too fast.
Yeah.
But they have their purpose, I think. Just not, I think the biggest thing is if you're going to talk about them, you've got to stress to people that this in no way is in comparison to a 3D printer, period.
One of the cool things that I saw as far as 3D pen use was at the RepRap Festival. Protopasta had 3 of them on their table, letting people try out the different filaments that Protopasta, offers. And so a lot of them were the aromatic, like the cinnamon. Like I deliberately went over to their table and stuck some cinnamon filament in the pen and just started like scribbling and just sniffing it. And yes, I huff filament. Get over it. But that's a use, I guess.
It was a lot of fun. It got a lot of kids involved too.
Yeah, they produced some really neat art. Some kid made a 3D benchy using the 3D pen for Joel at Murph. It was kind of neat.
I was thinking about this a little bit more. The comparison of a 3D pen to a printer. There is one exception that I will mention about that. We talked about it a little bit last week. Down at Nova, Vicky, I know you know the boy's name. I keep forgetting it. There was a kid down there who made the Lego printer. He's
Alec.
using Alec. Yeah. That's it. I don't know why I can't remember that. He's using the Creopop UV resin 3D printing pen on his printer. And it's a Lego built. It's using the kind of like the Lego Connects, the motorized kit, in order to drive the printer and everything. But he's got the pen strapped on there, and he actually does get some pretty decent prints from that.
Yeah, Lego Mindstorms.
Yeah.
I was thinking on my stream this coming Thursday of trying to do a print manually with the printer by like manually moving the axis, all like the extruder and the X and the Y, and trying to get something that's identifiable as some kind of object out of the printer.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the video for analog 3D printing yet?
No, I haven't.
Go find the video for analog 3D printing. It is the most ridiculous but cool thing I've ever seen.
Okay. Gotta look this up. It's not a glue gun, is it?
Is it really? That's
what my wife calls my 3D printers, is glorified glue guns.
Yeah, mine too.
Especially the 3D pens. I mean, that's basically almost exactly what they are, with like a slightly more complicated feeding mechanism.
Except they suck at gluing things.
Well, yeah, that too.
Is it the world's first mechanical / analog 3D printer?
Come on, chat.
There's actually quite a few analog 3D printers. That is interesting.
Yeah,
people have been joking about Sparky Face being a makeshift 3D printer recently.
Yeah.
It's all the baby jokes.
Sleeping.
What was that?
Hopefully she's in bed sleeping. She's on bed.
Yeah, it's a shame that the time works out the way it does, because like I think Angus was interested in popping in, but I think it's approximately like 3 or 4 in the morning right now.
Someone asked the Google.
Okay, Google. What time is it in Australia? Australia has like 5 time zones too.
Yeah, just do Sydney. It's the easiest one.
Okay, Google. What time is it in Sydney? 1:47 p.m. They're all at work.
Lame.
Is it really PM? That's Angus. If you see this, this is unacceptable. You can make.
Well, yeah,
you can make 1 p.m.
It's 11:45 at night here, so, and I'm in Maine.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Where's the Google Gnome?
Upstairs.
Case, if anybody hasn't been watching or didn't catch the Google Gnome from Matt's channel, it is awesome. I mean, he's up to like 4,000 views on that so far. For a small channel like ours, that's the closest thing we get to being viral. But I mean, Google Gnome, or Google even commented on his video. And
that's cool.
It's really cool.
I totally forgot that I had Alexa behind me.
It was cool. It wasn't a sterile video either. You did it in a funny way. You tried to make it entertaining.
Some people thought that. I got my first trolls.
Did you really?
Oh my God, Reddit. I had fun on Reddit for a little bit.
They can turn on you.
They can. Yeah, I definitely had my first Reddit experience, which wasn't bad. I mean, and the one guy left one comment, and then of course when I responded to him, he never came back to respond anymore. Another guy jumped in, and at first it was just like a one-line sentence saying about how all the video was a Google ad at the beginning of it, and then some basic Google commands, which yeah, it was, but it was. I think there was a lot of people who thought that it was fake, that that it was like a rendered image or something. But it was fun. I'm glad I did it. It went viral in my standard of viral.
So do any of you guys use smart home
I do.
Anything for like your 3D printer control? Because I mean, I use like Belkin Wemo switches on all my printers so I can kill them remotely, and like the Insight actually tracks my power usage on all these printers. And like I've got Alexa behind me, and now Alexa supports the computer wake up command. She just woke up. Turn off the studio lights. Or
It's
don't.
gonna act up now.
Let's yours. It may not work for you.
Computer, turn off the studio lights. There we go. And now I'm in the dark.
Mine today, for some reason, SmartThings did an update and Google Home is not controlling my lights. But there's the power switch that I have on my printers. It's one power strip with all the printers plugged in with an energy monitoring switch right on it, which is cool when you're trying to figure out how much prints cost you to print. It gives you your wattage and you can plug in how much your electric costs, and it'll tell you. For we don't have peak and off-peak electric costs. It's all one price. But I can tell exactly what a printer costs. Like right now, my printers are sitting idle, just powered up, are pulling 54 watts.
Yeah, that's what my Insight switches do. I can pull them up on the app from anywhere, and you know I can tell my proofs is using X amount or whatever. So now that I turned my lights off, I got to turn them back on. Computer, turn the studio lights on. Thank you.
Pierre said at the Vintage Computer Festival East, someone was attempting to drive a 3D printer with a 40-year-old Commodore PET. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's just cool that somebody would even think about it.
My first computer was actually a Commodore 64.
Dude, mine was a Commodore PET.
Was it?
20.
My first actual computer was a Tandy. It didn't even have a hard drive. It just had a 5.5 or 5.25 floppy drive.
5.25.
Yep.
Yeah, the PET had a cassette drive. You used regular tapes, like regular cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And you had to program it in BASIC.
We grew up with an Apple IIe. That was an old one.
Yeah, if you guys are old enough to remember Byte Magazine. Waiting.
Yeah, you had a subscription to
it.
I ended up.
We take turns laying on the floor typing in the commands so we can get centipede to work. Everybody do 100 lines and then turn it over to someone else.
Yeah, did you ever do the robot code where you just get like the robot's coordinates and they would just walk to one side of the screen to the other?
Don't remember that one.
Oh yeah, I had to hand enter all that code, and I was probably about 10 years old at the time. It took me about a day and a half, and it was the least rewarding thing I could ever experience. But it got there.
It's like the Hello World script when you first start programming.
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch 3D said in the chat, reminiscing about vintage computers. He remembers using a 486 computer to run a CNC router before microcontrollers were available. I remember the very first CNC anything I had to sit there and write the G code by hand. I did a belt buckle out of aluminum in my high school metal shop class. And I literally, everything that Slicer or Simplify or any of those do for our printers, I had to sit there and do that all by hand, one coordinate at a time, line by line, in order to do the belt buckle that I wanted.
I had to do the same thing for a chess set on a computerized lathe on a 486. Yeah. It took the entire freaking year, but I did it. And I was the only one willing to do it too.
CNCs and lathes are a little unforgiving too if you make mistakes in code.
Oh man, you get your
it is easy to break stuff.
Yeah, you get your speed factors wrong, and you're going in straight on. It's like that's a tool.
You've got
gone.
broken pieces.
Yeah.
Just in time 3D Prints wants to know, Lauren, if you decided on glass or acrylic yet.
Not yet. I did just have the glass recoated at a different thickness and not tempered to see what the price difference would be with that. And then we'll see how it compares to the acrylic quote that I got, and then we'll go from there.
I'd really like to see it glass personally. I think that would look just.
I would too, but
awesome.
It'll be
the
classier.
$487 price tag of the glass is a little hard to swallow.
You have to start a
Somebody
GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Somebody set a GoFundMe up for Lauren.
Yeah. So I mean, if the new quote comes back, basically like 300 is my max that I want to spend on a tabletop. So if the new one comes back under 300, I'll probably go glass.
So just curious, Lauren, between research like your test pieces, the filament that you actually use to print your gears, the glue, what do you have into your table financially so far, if you don't mind sharing it?
Financially, I mean, I went through 3 full spools of filament. And I think they were anywhere from $20 to $30 a spool.
What brand?
I did a third of it. 1 spool was Flash Forge, 1 spool was Maker Geeks, and 1 spool was Melt Ink.
Did you use super glue?
I used a 2-part epoxy.
I was going to say, because if you use super glue, your super glue probably cost you more than the filament did to glue all that stuff together.
Yeah,
Super
no,
glue
I
is really
used 2-part
expensive.
epoxy. I used 3 tubes of the Gorilla Glue 2-part epoxy, the 5-minute set, and then I used 1 tube of the Loctite 60-minute set. I've used 2 cans of filler primer spray paint, 3 cans of regular spray paint, and 2 cans of the Rust-Oleum Oil Rub Bronze spray paint. And luckily, though, I got most of that spray paint from work for free because we stopped carrying Krylon. So we were trying to get rid of a bunch of Krylon paint. And because I'm an employee, they said, take what you want. So the Krylon paint I got for free.
Wasn't Superman from Krylon?
What was that?
Wasn't Superman from Krylon?
Klingon.
Oh, that's right.
What else did I spend on it? I mean, the glue testing alone cost me like $35 to test all of the different glues out.
What did you have as far as like total print time, like estimated?
300 hours of print time. It was up to 40 hours at that point of sanding and painting and gluing, but I have since tacked on like an additional 30 hours. And it was about 50 hours of design time.
Did you already get a quote for the acrylic? I think acrylic obviously would be the safest. I think that would probably, as long as you get like decent acrylic that won't like yellow or crack over time.
I did, but I can't remember what it came back as.
Because I don't know if you've dealt with untempered glass much. I just don't want to read a news article about you being in some kind of like Final Destination-esque situation with your coffee table there.
And then,
right.
And then
Yeah,
of course,
and-
put 3D printing in the headline, so then
Right.
it'll explode. And,
I
Way to go,
did
Lauren's
have
gonna
them
give us a
quoted
bad
out as
face.
both tempered and untempered, just at a smaller thickness, to see what the price came back at.
Have you thought about printing a top?
It needs
That's only
to be
another 300
clear.
hours of print time.
It needs to be clear, which is my problem, is it needs to be like super crystal clear, because then you won't, like my mom said, well, you work with granite fabricators, why don't you have them fabricate a granite top for you? Which I could do, except for then you would miss all of the detail in the gears. Like that would kind of take away from the art of the gears.
Yeah, I think you got to be able to look top down on that table for sure.
Correct.
I think you said you used 3 spools of filament for the gears.
Yep.
Was that your test pieces and everything? Because I know you printed quite a bit of test pieces as well.
Yeah, no, most of my test pieces I used other filaments that were loaded, like some were ABS, some were other PLAs, just basically whatever was in there, just so that I could test out sometimes the shape of the gear to make sure it was right, testing out the infills and stuff like that. So I used so that was 3 full spools just for the coffee table.
That's you said that, and my jaw almost dropped because my Shore Trooper helmet, I used 2 full spools to print that, and I just did the math. What was it? it was 204 hours total print time for my Shore Trooper helmet. So when you said you were at 300 hours for the coffee table and 3 spools of filament, it just shocked me that those 2 items were so close, yet so completely different from each other.
Yeah.
So that means your table probably, even with like glue and paint, I would guess weighs what, about 7.5 pounds?
Yeah, I mean, I know the suitcase that it was in to go to Murph was a 25-pound suitcase, and that included all the packing materials and the suitcase itself. So, yeah, no, and some people are saying to cast it in resin. I have looked at doing that. I honestly kind of think that glass would be the best way.
I think you're right. I think with the industrial look of the gears, I think glass is going to be your best bet. Even plexiglass, or not plexi, but acrylic, I think will take away from the industrial look of it.
You might also want to quit Lexan. Lexan sheets can be have pretty good optical qualities. I used to have to work with that at my old job.
Yeah, we got a creeper in the stream.
I saw that. We have an interloper.
I see pink people.
I'm no creeper. Oh, can you hear
What's up, Heather?
You are like a ninja, though.
Yeah, she's just sitting there quietly.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
There is not a single pink item in your frame here.
What about her shirt? Oh,
it's
My
red.
shirt's
now
red.
everybody's blocking it.
How about my nails? My
There you
nails
go.
are
Blue.
They're about
Shush.
90% pink.
Look, Heather,
Here's a
I even
piece.
have pink up there.
Here's a piece of my fidget spinner that I have to figure out. They don't spin. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So
Your
I have
cap's
to
touching
figure
the
it out.
inside and the outside.
Operator error.
yeah, probably, huh? Well, I saw on the video they actually take this little inside part out. What's that about?
It's
That's
just
to
like a
expose
dust
the-
cover.
Oh, the
yeah.
dust cover, yeah.
But on your cap that you're making, Heather, put a ring right on the inside of it. So you've got the cap and a plug that goes inside of the bearing.
Yeah,
In between there, just put a little bit of a lip, slightly bigger than
There
that
is
inner
one.
side. Oh, do you have it?
Yeah.
Usually
It might
they
just
do.
be your dust cover, and you can use a bunch of things, but I just soaked mine in alcohol to kind of dissolve the lubricant and
Yeah.
switch it around a little bit. Because if you get rid of the lube and the dust cover,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
and it's funny, you can't get away with a chuckle here because the camera cuts to you.
Fucking 5th grade humor. I'm sorry.
I said earlier, there's so many "that's what she said" opportunities that have been missed during this chat.
they've been going on in my
I'm
head.
disappointed with you.
They've been going on in my head, too. Every single time I want to say it, and I stop myself.
There was 8 in a row when we started, and I actually literally muted my mic so I wouldn't interrupt people.
There's somebody said something earlier and got me laughing on the stream. I'll still apologize for that one.
We're pushing our PG-13 rating here.
I know.
We're gonna get this video flagged.
How do you get the dust covers off these things?
I saw they did it with a knife, like a
Yeah, use an
knife.
X-Acto.
Something thin.
Yeah.
There's very little holding them in. There's basically a I don't know, it's not rubber, but some kind of synthetic thing that's just kind of tucked under the edge of each of the steel rings.
Okay.
And it's basically pried up a little bit. They come off really easy, shockingly easy.
I'm going to do it, so if I cut myself, one of you have dine one and then get prepared to dial the other one.
What, you
Send
gotta give us
all
your
your
address
complaints to my
first.
P.O. box.
Dick did that the other day. He was playing with a high-power transformer, flyback transformer. Told everybody on his stream to call 911, but then give out his address.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be an interesting call.
There's some guy on YouTube who cut himself and shocked himself, and I don't know where he's at. Kansas City somewhere?
So, Dick, do you want to have Heather introduce herself real quick?
Yeah, if you want to, go for it, Heather.
Does she need an introduction?
She's in the mafia, people.
I'm not in the mafia. Don't say that. I'm not part of that mafia or that other mafia on Twitter. So I'm Heather, wife to Travis from A Power Design. And if you're in the Twitterverse or on Instagram or anything like that, I have the hashtag 3D Pink Mafia. So celebrating all things pink, it's preferably pink prints. And Yeah, so if you ever want to know anything about any kind of filament, I could probably tell you because I've tested quite a bit. But
What's your favorite blue?
What's my favorite blue? You know, Travis might be able to tell you. He likes blue. But yeah, so, and my big thing is we have a 6-year-old daughter, and she's really getting into 3D printing. So we're kind of learning together, and that's what we do.
Cool. Did you guys, I know it's funny to say that right as Heather joined, did you guys want to kind of keep the length of this tame tonight? We're at right about 2 hours. Like, I don't know if anybody cared. Like, I have to be in bed by about 1, so I have like another hour, but.
You're not trying
Honestly, I was thinking about bailing, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm probably short term. You know, I'm gonna have to go to sleep. I have to take my kids to jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
Nice.
But I want to stick around. I want to see what Heather adds to the conversation. Maybe like 20 minutes or so for me.
Well, did you guys got more pink than Heather does? You see that? Go back, click on Vicky's, bring her up again.
Oh, yeah,
She's
pink
got
on right now.
She has pink pants. She has pink filament in. There's pink on the table.
I
think
printing
she's
cancer
encroaching
ribbons.
on your territory.
It wasn't there earlier. She must have just slipped that in.
It even looks like the marker on your dry erase board is kind of in the pink range.
It is pink. Yes, yes.
Vicky's
Yeah.
trying to
It's,
take my
green is my favorite color.
That's it. Vicky's
But
now the mop queen.
Oh, I got pink pajama pants on.
So we had actually talked about discussing this at the beginning of the stream. I think that's how it was in the show notes. But especially some of you that might be leaving soon, did you have any projects that you're currently doing that you wanted to discuss at all or show anybody?
Well, I'm about to probably take off so I can at least spend a little bit of time with the wifey. Projects I've got coming up. I mentioned earlier the filament series that I'll be doing with the various different filament brands. But I got the FT5 behind me here. And like I mentioned earlier on that, all day tomorrow I'll be working on that thing, converting it into a Franken monster of a printer. And I'll probably document some of that for videos and stuff. But
do you stream it all, or will you be recording that, I guess?
Oh, I stream. I don't know if I'll be streaming this because I foresee many screw-ups in my future for doing this. So that might be worth the entertainment value in and of itself. So who knows? But yeah, I'll document like how I did the Z-axis modification and stuff like that. But other than that, just little stuff here and there. But yeah.
Can we throw tomatoes?
What?
Can we throw tomatoes?
Throw tomatoes at your screen. Go for it. I'm probably going to sign off though. So yeah. Thanks for letting me hang out, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Joe. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go make sure my wife isn't completely pissed at me. So everyone, she just said I am from the other room.
Good luck with that, man. I know the feeling. I find myself in that situation on a regular basis.
If I'm not back,
I'm so
by next
lucky.
Friday,
It's awesome.
call the police. Find my address. Find me.
All right, see you, Joe. Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you, man.
What about you, Claire? Do you have any projects currently ongoing? Now, you said you have access to printers in like the lab or whatever that you work in. Do you have any like privately, or do you only have access to those?
Yeah, so I don't have any of my own printers. Basically, a makerspace opened up next to me, and I went in and I'm like, hey, I want 3D printing. They're like, cool. If you can teach yourself, then you can come here whenever you want. So I made them some instructional videos, and I write them some curriculum whenever I want. So it's a pretty good deal. So yeah, I have to go there whenever I want to do anything. I think tomorrow they just got a dual head, so I'm going to try and figure out how to make that work so I can print 2 color filaments at once.
Awesome.
For those of you in the chat who don't know, Oh, yeah, sorry, drawing a blank there for a second. Claire has kind of popped up here recently on everybody's radar. Her second video that she released, actually her first two videos, are 3D printing related. The first one was a clip for a notebook to hold the pen and the towel to wipe a dry erase rag on it for the notebook. The other one was a 3D printed ukulele that actually works. And I don't know anything about ukuleles, but I know it doesn't sound horrible. It sounds really good.
No, that's cool. That is impressive. You're already doing better than, like, we were talking about, like, the swarm of 3D printing channels that have like 1 or 2 videos. You're already doing better than most of them, and you don't own a printer. That's like,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also like thought it would I'm like, oh, it's gonna take me like 6 months to get like 50 followers.
You're probably gonna hit 100 tonight if
Okay, yeah. So, all right, let's run a little bit of a drive here. Somebody who has not subscribed to Make It, and Fake It.
You're at 99.
And
You've got 2
because
cents.
she's
I
sitting at
clicked on your
99
page.
right
Oh,
now.
am I? Shoot.
Yes, you are.
Oh.
You got roll 99
for a while.
Hey, at 100,
Now
as
you
we
have to have a
were talking about
giveaway.
earlier, at 100, yeah. At 100, you can claim your YouTube / username.
Yeah.
Makes it a hell of a lot easier to share your channel than like, hey, it's YouTube /U3
Yeah.
897AM6T. Because I still haven't gotten mine. I need to make that move, but I need to change my channel name. And I wanted to do Nilla 3D, but people said I should do Nillabean 3D. But I'm like, it's so long.
Yeah.
And
You know what the worst thing about having a long name is? It's not so much having a difficult to find name. It's when you're trying to share it on something like Twitter or try to put it on a business card. You might as well forget it.
105.
That's amazing.
You blew past 100.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Good
That's
job.
awesome.
Good job.
We need to set a number. If you hit 1,000 subs and don't have a printer, we need to throw together and buy you one.
Yes,
I
for sure.
I think they might not be open during the summer, so I don't know what I'm gonna do then. But
You're gonna have to
might
get
just back
for them.
we need to invoke the power of Joel Telling here.
Yeah,
I know.
just send
I
everyone
would
out a
have
screen.
He just-
have a printer.
He
An
just gave away a
11-year-old. He
printer.
just gave an 11-year-old a printer, or said he was going to send her one.
Yeah, and she does such amazing things. I'm so happy for her.
Well, there's 3 contests running right now still, so make sure you enter all those, Claire.
I don't know.
There's
Absolutely.
ours, and there's Dustin's and Barnacles.
Yeah, Heather, real quick, since you're in the chat in the stream, why don't you fill everybody in on that who might not have been in the chat earlier?
Yeah, so our contest, we're giving away a CME CNC Delta H2 with a full license of Simplify 3D, and then 4 spools of Matter Hackers Pro PLA filament. And then our second prize is 3 rolls of filament, 2 from Rigid Ink and 1 from Atomic Filament. So it's definitely an amazing prize package. And then Dustin and Barnacles are both giving away, I think it's the CME CNC Orion. Is that the one that it is?
No,
It's
they're
a
giving
Delta.
away the Rostock.
Oh, the Rostock Max V3.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, so it's very cool.
No,
I'm
that's a
pretty
great
excited.
There's
primary
also
prize
sorry.
package.
And Heather, plug your sponsors quick. Who's your sponsors?
Oh yes, our sponsor is in the chat right now, Lucky 13 Vinyl, and then CME CNC. So yeah, make sure you enter.
Got to get the plug out.
What is
Yes.
Lucky 13 Vinyl?
He's just a soul guy on.
Oh,
he
okay.
should be still in the chat, but he does all the vinyl stickers that you've been seeing. Of course, I don't have any of mine around me, but like he did mine. He did some for Lauren. He did some for Jimmy.
Yeah, I think I
Calvin.
have one here. Hold on.
that's cool.
And so he does a lot of different vinyl stickers, or he has the stuff to do vinyl stickers. And he just kind of contacted us and said, hey, do you want to host my contest?
This is the one
There
he
you
did
go.
for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to send my logo over to him to print stickers for me as well.
Oh,
That's
yes,
cool. I
there he
miss-
is.
They're
Hi,
awesome.
Curtis.
I miss having access to the equipment. I used to work, like that's what I did for a living for a few years, was worked at a print shop and I did all their design work and most of their like actual like manufactured items and stuff. Oh, it's so nice having access to that kind of equipment. I made so much stuff.
That's like Travis has access to the big lasers.
I'm so jealous of Travis's access to
know.
lasers.
I was working in a building a couple, probably a month ago now. They have an entire room of lasers, like the ones Travis gets to work on. That was like I was in kitty heaven.
Do it right, lasers.
Lasers,
laser beams.
Sharks with lasers.
Freaking sharks.
Yeah, I actually have to jump out too, folks. I need to give my wife and daughter some attention.
Bye.
Do you have any projects, Chris?
I
Anything
do.
before you part?
I have one small thing on the radar. Well, I have a lot of big stuff on the radar, but the small thing that I'm hoping to finish this weekend. Some of you may have seen on Twitter, I've tweeted a couple of pictures. I got one of B3 Innovations' new Pico Hybrid. B3 Innovations' new Pico Hybrid hot ends to beta test. I tweeted out a couple of pictures where I've actually fitted that on an E3D Titan. And it actually comes in at about half the weight of an E3D Aero. About 20 millimeters longer, but it comes in about half the weight. So it's a good comparison there if you're looking for weight versus length. I'm not ready to do a review. I'm still working on designs to get that fitted on a printer. That's probably going to go on Aussie, my highly modified G-Max. But I plan on trying to get a video out this weekend that shows you all the different options that come with that V3 kit. I think they're going to be launching on Kickstarter either this month or early next month, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm pretty excited about getting some time to play with that. I know.
Oh my God. That's what she said. That's what she said. You had like 3 of them there. I'm sorry. I can't. There was like 3 of them there. I'm trying to be an adult, but it's hard. I've been drinking.
All right, here you go. Yeah, Dustin the Jetman's been testing one of the Pico. I keep wanting to say Pico. The Pico hybrids for a while now, and he's had great success. So I'm really looking forward to getting it fitted on a printer. So, but yeah, I want to get something out that hopefully this weekend, just to show you what's going to come in the kit, and show you how beautifully it's machined. I mean, it is. If you're a machine geek or you like quality parts, it's sexy. It's shiny.
If you guys haven't, Chris is also one of the ones getting ready to roll 100 here. He's at 90 subscribers. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Chris, hit him up too. He's doing a lot of prints that you can tell your wife or your girlfriend or your parents, whoever got you your printer, allowed you to get your printer, that you're doing practical stuff with it.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, Matt's really close too. And once Matt and I hit 100, there might be something to watch out for.
Yeah, it's cool, guys. Like everybody in chat, like give them some love. I think everybody here has something to contribute to the community, and I think most of us have very different approaches to the way we do things. So, especially some of the regulars here. If you're sick of looking at my stupid bald head, go check some of these guys out. Like they have a ton of cool projects, very different approaches to things than I tend to have. I think most of you are just like hanging around till I take a finger off with my Dremel tool. So if you want to see some actual 3D printing, yeah, venture out there. It's like Vicky's channel. I found Vicky after the last hangout, and I've watched like a ton of your videos, learned a bunch of stuff. Again, just like getting exposure to like things that you might not normally see, or thinking of doing things ways you might not normally think of doing them.
Vicky is a genius. Everybody should go follow her like now.
Absolutely. Vicky, are you working on my burrito project?
No.
That's not Travis.
Yeah, there's Travis. And I see we have another ninja. Well, actually, I don't see him. I just see his bed.
Picture.
Jaden?
Yeah, where's Jaden?
Jaden, where'd you go?
Jaden's hiding behind all the lights.
Makes sense, the hook.
There he is. Think you can mute your mic and hide. There he is. We'll leave him be. And he's gone. Scared him away.
Oh,
Gotta be there somewhere.
he'll be back. He's
Mike, are
excited to
you
get
getting
it.
ready to head out too? Did you want to talk about your projects before you
Yeah.
call it a night?
I've got to drop out, guys.
See you, Chris.
Chris, you're awesome, man. All right.
It's been a pleasure. We'll see you all soon.
Right on, dude.
Bye, Chris.
See you, Chris.
So what's up, Mike?
All
What are you
right.
working on?
So, a couple of things. If anybody who follows my channel, I always consider myself a little more of a guy who took the machinist approach to 3D printing, where you just get a file and you learn how to tweak it in your own printer before you put it out there. I've actually taken some pretty large steps lately and actually designed my own maker coin. So, bam, like that. I'm going to be doing a video for that pretty soon, and also behind me, hang on, I'm going to move my camera real quick. That's the D-Bot we're working on. We're very close to wrapping that up. All I got to do is... No, I've got it on a card table. It's not that big.
I was
dude.
going to say, holy crap, that thing is
So there's a card
No.
behind it. It's as tall as it.
It was funny because like we're being sponsored by Open Builds, and when I first talked to them about this project, they wanted to see if I wanted to build one that was 1 meter tall, and I was like, that sounds like so much fun, but I don't know if the physics can handle that. So, but we're just getting ready to wire up the board, and I'm actually considering doing the moment of truth to see if I can print out a calibration cube as a live stream. So if anybody's interested in that, just go ahead and hit me up. Let me know. I think it'd be kind of fun because, as Vicky said, a fail is the only way you're going to learn how to do it the right way. And one way or the other, I would really love to just have that up there like that. That's about it for right now.
That's cool. What did you make the maker coin?
Real quick, chiming in. You know what? I missed the introductions. He might have already said that. But when he says we, his co-host is his daughter, so Molly, and she's very enthusiastic about 3D printing. She's a joy to watch.
Nice.
Oh, thanks, Vicky. I appreciate that. Sorry, Dick. What was your question?
Oh, I was just asking like what you made your maker coin in. Like, what programs did you use?
Well, I used actually Tinkercad, and I watched your video about the coin you made in Tinkercad as well, like right after I did this. But it was this was kind of a dumb, quick project. I actually followed a tutorial, and I can't remember the name of the guy that did the tutorial. He gave me the idea of the actual design of the coin and the depth and everything, but I used the custom font generator in Tinkercad that was community-based to make our logo, or quote-unquote logo.
The one that I messed with like an idiot and couldn't get to work right.
I think they kind of fine-tuned it a little bit since you had your headaches. That sounds about right to me, because, I mean, mine went a little smoother, so to speak. But yeah,
That's cool though. I'm glad my videos find their way to people. Like it always blows my mind.
oh no, man. Yeah, you've got some cool vids. You seriously do. So yeah, I'm subbed to you and everything. So I'll be watching as soon as I get a chance to again.
Cool. What about you, Vicky? I know you always have projects going on.
Oh, me. One thing, I'm not that disciplined about releasing videos. And on Wednesday, I was on the 3D Printing Tonight, just watching with Dustin. And he was telling people he was encouraging them to release a video once a week. So I thought I would try to concentrate on that a little bit because my next craft fair is in June. So, maybe try to catch up on some videos in the meantime. I don't know how sustainable it is because I'm a working mother. So it'll be like one business trip or one stomach flu, and yeah, I'm out. But I did already film footage for a video this week, so hopefully I can get it edited this weekend and get that out. And as far as modeling, right now I'm sketching something what I want to call a corcupine, which is going to be like a little porcupine, but it's going to be like a chia pet. And I'm going to put used wine corks to make the quills. And I'm thinking it's going to be like a kit. I actually took some inspiration from you, Lauren, where you printed all these gears that came together. This is a much smaller scale, but I'm like, oh, I'll have pieces that will connect the corks to make the quills longer. So
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome.
Totally cool.
I always
Anybody
look forward
else?
to your videos, Vicky. I know you don't post them super regularly, but I always, as soon as I see one of yours in the sub feed, I jump on it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually the same way. I mean, like, if you ever watch one of Vicky's videos, you will get to see some stuff that you probably did not think that 3D printing was capable of, especially in a practical yet craft sort of format. It's really something to watch.
You occupied a warm place in my heart the moment I saw you generating shapes with programming. Like I've dabbled with like game design and stuff and programming for a long time, and that is one of the most alien things to most people, like how that entire process works. And like as soon as I saw you doing that, I was like, man, I'm gonna be here every time she releases a video to watch this. This is great.
Thank you. And this is good timing because I hear a 3-year-old crying. Hopefully not like Ryan's child. Hopefully it's not like a vomit situation. But I should probably go. But feel free to talk awesomely about me while I'm gone.
Good luck with that.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Vicky. Thanks for joining in.
Yep,
My
I'm
daughter
out too,
had
guys.
what could.
Yep. See ya.
See you, Mike. See you, Mike.
All right. Thanks.
My daughter had what could only be described as explosive diarrhea today. So
man.
that was that was an adventure, to say the least. That's like the kind of thing you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy.
That's when adulting sucks. You're like, oh, I'll just pawn this off to somebody else to deal with. Oh, just kidding. There's nobody else here.
It's moments like that where I'm glad I don't have kids.
It's worth it, but yeah, it's fun.
I don't know, some of you have probably seen my project. I have it sitting here. This is what I've been working on lately. This was a set of files that Naomi Wu, a friend of hers, Zhang, apparently in China, had been working on this. And she's, I guess, kind of handling it like a social experiment. She's trying to show him the power of like the community, as opposed to, I don't know, I guess I got the impression like he is using some other methods to try to spread the word, like forums and stuff like that. But she's, I think, trying to show him the power of the YouTube and the Twitter. But I printed out all the parts as he had them, and I've been slowly modifying. Like I was getting kind of lost at first, but then I came up with the system of printing pieces in different colors as I modified them. So I have some more to do, but everything that's green were like my redesigned parts. But I wish I had the files to give to everybody because this thing's so sweet. But I know I had messed with it on stream a little bit, and the caulking mechanism, it's one of the things that needs reworked still, because it will kind of caulk itself again. I'll fix it here. But this is, I tried to measure it, but I don't really have a good way. This is about 15-pound pull already. It's almost to the point where it's kind of scary. But this thing is so sweet. Like, it'll stick. I took my little aluminum rods and sharpened them to like points. And it'll bury this about a quarter point into wood, or a quarter inch into wood at this point.
Stop pointing that at your face.
So this is what I've been.
Dick, I don't know if you're paying attention to your followers in the chat, but so far they've all said, at first they were talking about you taking your finger off with the Dremel earlier. Now they said they're waiting. Instead of that, they're waiting for you to impale yourself with the crossbow. And the fact that you just showed that you sharpened the arrow.
Well, on stream,
got some real supportive friends.
hopefully most people didn't see that, but I was cutting these to length, or something, or bolts or something. I think it was the aluminum. I was cutting the aluminum to length because they're in these little axles here, and I just cut it with the Dremel, and it was so hot you couldn't hold it. So I picked it up and touched it to my tongue for like I have after it happened, I burnt the hell out of my tongue, and I instantly thought, I was like, why did I do that? Why did that just happen? Like, why do I hate myself? It's so ridiculous. It's like completely inexplicable. But I don't know why I do these things. Luckily,
now I see half of Jaden's head.
He's partially rejoining us. But no, that's what I have going on. I can tell this is going to be a project that I work on periodically. Like, I stayed up 5 hours the other night. I just got kind of hooked. Like, when you have a project, you're like, oh, this is so cool, I need to finish it.
Yeah, it's addicting, ain't it?
Because I've been working on redesigning the trigger mechanism so that it doesn't auto cock again, because it fires so hard that it'll like jostle the thing and it'll click back, and then you have to kind of manually push it forward. It needs another spring like internally here to keep it. But no, this was dealing with this was kind of humbling to me. There is a ton of time that went into this, and it's like so impressive. And it kind of sucks because there's like the language barrier. Like, even if I could contact the guy that made this, like, he speaks Chinese and I don't. So, but no, it's kind of humbling when you deal with some things that other people have designed. Like, I couldn't do this. It's one thing to go in and modify things, like when you're putting it together and you're like, yeah, I could tweak this and I could tweak that. But to actually like design this from the ground up myself, it's utterly impressive to me. It's like super cool.
You know, I would like to get, I think somebody interesting to get on these streams would be Naomi. It's 12, I just looked, they're 12 hours ahead here, so it's 12:30 a.m. there.
She can't. I've been talking to her on Twitter, like in direct messages, like a good bit lately, and like I was trying to push her, but apparently her internet connection is just
horrible.
Oh, yeah, horrible. Because like I've asked her if she's ever done any live internet stuff at all. Because I mean, come on, if she would start streaming, she would blow my channel away in a heartbeat. Because one of her projects are so much cooler than mine. Because she actually makes things, but no, apparently it's just like not an option for her, which is tragic. Like, the community needs to come together and get her like an internet cell hookup or something and send it to her.
Does she ever come over to the States or anything for any of the shows, like Maker Fairs or any of that?
From what I understand, she can't get travel visas.
No.
Yeah, she can't get visas.
It's why I don't know if anybody's followed her on Twitter with like the whole, like, she's upset with the community because like certain, like apparently in China, Western validation means everything to the government. And if basically you're not acknowledged by the government as like a maker, you'll never get approval to leave the country to do any of these things. And she's just kind of stuck, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
she would be. Yeah, she would be very cool to be able to talk to.
Yeah, I agree. It's a shame because I was like, I wish there was something I could do, but I'm like a nobody. You know what I mean? And apparently, like, it just is the case where she needs acknowledgement by one of a few maker kind of organizations here for the government to kind of acknowledge her, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen because they have their objections to certain elements of her persona and stuff. But it's kind of a shame.
It's a total shame.
Yeah.
It was kind of a reality check for me talking to her. Like you'll hear people say like, oh, you take all these things for granted, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then like to talk to her, you really start to realize like just how many things we take for granted in the West, like the freedoms we have and stuff. Like it was, like I said, I don't know how else to say it. It was just like a reality check for me. Like how easy it is to take various things for granted. But sorry to bring things down. I mean, that's if any of you are like me, like that is like a huge downer. But
well, everybody
Absolutely.
who's watching, she is awesome, and you guys should go check her out on Twitter and YouTube and Reddit.
Absolutely. Yeah, let her. I mean, she's really big into trying to build the community and trying to make a community, because for her, she has a very limited community. I mean, when you look at her followers and stuff on YouTube and on Twitter, she has a lot of followers. But yeah, from what you see her talk about and stuff, and like Dick said, it does kind of, he's gotten to talk to her a lot more than I have, but it puts things in a whole new perspective, especially for those of us in the U.S. who we do take a lot of what we have for granted compared to what a lot of the world has to put up with, or has no choice but to put up with, really.
you know, if like no
Definitely
recourse,
check her
that's
out.
the thing. It's not like she could do something slightly different and, you know, circumvent the problems. It's like these are hard limitations that she's facing, and there's really nothing any of us can do about it. It's why
That's
it's so
not true, though.
frustrating.
I mean, if you voice your interest in her to the companies that need to acknowledge her and invite her to an event, you could make a difference.
That's true, and like I have, and don't be like too angsty when you contact them, but it is worth, like at Make and Raspberry Pi are the two ones that she's most frustrated with at the moment. But if anybody wants to, it's worth sending them a message and saying, hey, you know, this is a valuable, worthwhile part of the maker community that you're not really shining a spotlight on, and you need to.
Yeah. If you think you can't make a difference, if you do follow her on Twitter and you see her posts and stuff, even simply just retweeting her stuff and sharing it. I mean, if that's all you do, that's still something. Twitter has a very large reach. I mean, it's amazing. I've had issues with companies and posted something on Twitter, and within minutes had resolutions from those companies that by phone and stuff I couldn't get a resolution from, or even get a hold of a company. So here I am. I'm just somebody with 100, 200 followers on Twitter. You've still got to reach. I mean, look at look at what the community pulled together and did for Claire in the last 24 hours. I'm not sure how many subscribers you went up, Claire, but it was amazing. I was watching her account all day today, just watching it climb, and it's amazing what this community did. And Naomi was one of the ones that tweeted out about Claire and got the word out about her. And I mean, and we on however you say the YouTube listing website that everybody's been talking about on Twitter. When they first updated it the other day, she had 2 subscribers on YouTube, and she beat me and Chris, who've been at this for a few months now, getting to 100. Not to make it sound like a race or anything, but it's amazing what the community has done.
Also, like, I've been thinking about this a lot. Is this, not this is necessarily a bad thing, but is like kind of the attention I'm getting because I'm like a young woman who's doing these 3D printing things. And it's just like part of the reason I started making videos is because I'm like, oh, I was like Googling women 3D printing. I couldn't find anyone. I'm like, this is stupid. Is that like, I'm fine with that. And
it is part of it. There's, especially lately, there's been a huge push towards female makers, especially in the 3D printing community. And a lot of people want to help promote female makers, especially in the 3D printing community. So I think whenever somebody sees somebody and sees somebody who actually can articulate what they want, can show good things, and that just in general seems excited about the process, they want to promote you. And I think that's awesome.
Well, I think young men. Oh,
cool.
Go ahead, Heather or Claire.
I was just going to say, you know, for us, Travis and I both, our big thing is promoting young makers. And so, yeah, I think, you know, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's amazing. And when we see somebody that comes into the community that has a passion for it, then we want to support that wholeheartedly. And that's why I think there's a big push to say, come on, you can do this, because there's been, even just in the short time that we've been on YouTube, and that we've seen a lot of young makers come in on the scene, and then you know, they kind of, I don't want to say they get left behind, but there isn't as much attention on them and they kind of fall off. And it's sad because we'd rather have them continue making amazing stuff and know that we're here to support them whatever they do. So we always try to push makers.
I have a video that's going to be coming up very, very soon. It's in the works right now on that exact topic, Heather. Going to Nova Maker Fair and seeing what the kids were doing down there blew me away. I mean, I'm 30 years old, and I have an entire video that I'm going to be talking about imagination and what the younger generation of makers, the advantage that they have over all of us. They may not have knowledge or wisdom as much as some of us do. Some of them have more wisdom and knowledge than a lot of us do, but they may not have the experiences and stuff to put things together, but with the right help, they can learn it quicker than what we were able to. I mean, I'm just now doing stuff that I dreamed of being able to do when I was a kid. Things like 3D printers, I never could imagine those back then. But I mean, the stuff I'm doing now would blow the younger me away. But I'm pretty sure the younger me, had I had this stuff, would blow myself away now. So seeing you, Claire, I have 2 daughters. One's 5 years old, and she's just as interested in what I'm doing down here in the office as my neighbors and my friends are that got me to create the YouTube channel. So seeing you, seeing Vicky, seeing Lauren, seeing Heather, seeing Tessa, Naomi, what you guys are all doing for the female side of it is awesome, and that's exactly what I want my daughter to be able to come into, is an awesome, welcoming community that everybody has shown you in the last 24 hours. That is exactly what I want for my daughters.
Yep. People just need help with the technical side. Like they need some assistance learning how to do things. Like you don't teach creativity. That's what bringing new people in is good for, is like bringing in new approaches and creativity and like a fresh perspective on things. They just need like a little bit of guidance on like the technical aspects and stuff. And like I haven't even taught that many people how to do things, but it's something I've seen. It's like teach people how to like on a basic level, like operate the things they need to do and like, you know, the functional side of things, and then basically step back and let them run with it. Like they will blow your mind if given the opportunity.
Real quick, just to kind of answer some questions in the chat, sort of on this topic. Everybody is asking Claire a bunch if she's going to get a printer soon, her own printer. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in the works, she's probably got a printer in her near future. Whether she gets it or she sparks some interest in somebody, I'm pretty sure you might be getting a printer a lot sooner than later.
Also, like in the lab, we have 3 TAS 6s that I can like use as much as I want. So I don't know why. And like I don't live in a big apartment, so I don't know where I'm going.
You've already blown some of us away with just 2 videos and not even owning a printer. You've blown some of us away who do 3D printing.
To be honest, I'd say work with what you got right now and don't worry about getting a printer until you need one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, yeah, Jaden, talk about your makerspace. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say he's in here. Jaden, would you please introduce yourself?
I finally got everything working after all.
You've become like an elephant in the room at this point.
I didn't want to interrupt. It was all important conversations, and I was listening. It's all something we need to talk about. And in regards to Claire not having a printer, I have a very good contact and a good friend over at Lulzbot. And you said you got some TAS 6s. I have a friend over there, and I'm sure we can get a printer your way. Not a problem.
Like, I don't need my own printer at this point.
Well, the offer is there.
But when you do, now you know who to ask.
Yeah. There's definitely some people out there who can get your hands on one. And like everyone was saying before, I've actually got a 6-year-old sister. And 7, sorry. She reminded me today, 7. And I think it's important because she's sort of grown up with me playing around with printers and everything else, and she always blabs on to school about her brother who makes robots and stuff. And a lot of the time, like, she'll go in and show things, and it's sort of just it's not really for her. I think, obviously I'm her role model, but I would like if there was something where she could actually go on and, she watches YouTube and everything else. If she could actually go on and watch fellow girls doing that sort of thing, you know, having role models in these particular areas that she can sort of look up to and follow, because yeah, she looks up to me, but again, I'm her brother. So she's going to get to a point where she's not going to listen to me anyway. And I think it's important. I think it's important to actually support everyone. So that was my 2 cents.
Okay, so Chris is apparently watching our lips move and reading the chat. I wanted to know what he missed. So I just told him Jaden just came on and said he's giving all of us that are left streaming Lulzbot printers.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to get in trouble now.
So real quick, while we've got oh, go ahead, Dick.
Say, I'm sorry. Like I again, like I don't know you at all, Jaden. I've never met you. Like, I assume you run a channel and stuff. Did you want to? Like, I know someone said you don't need an introduction, but I don't get out enough apparently.
No, that's fine. Okay, so Jaden Edwards, you can look me up on youtube.com/Jaden Edwards. It's spelt really weird, so have a look in the chat if you want to know how to spell my name properly. I basically do videos on 3D printing, laser cutting, Arduino, electronics. Yeah, so 3D printing sort of an aspect of what I do. I wouldn't say my channel is particularly focused on it, but I use 3D printing for robotics projects and props and all that sort of stuff, but also muck around with all sorts of other tech.
Very cool, man. I'll add you to the description here.
Yeah.
I did find you. I did find your channel. You have slightly more subscribers than the rest of us here.
Yeah, Jaden just hit 30,000. Huge congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aw, thank you. You make me blush. That's really cool. I started doing YouTube back in school when I was in high school, and sort of when I was at school, I wanted to do like mechatronic engineering, I wanted to build robots and all that sort of thing. And I sort of wanted to get a head start. So I started building Arduino projects, working with electronics, ended up teaching myself programming, and thought I posted videos on YouTube to sort of document what I'd made for tutorials. So I started doing tutorials, and then it sort of turned into people like this sort of thing. So I kept doing it for a while on the side, and now I'm sort of getting back into it and doing all sorts of bits and pieces now. Yeah.
I have a question that might seem weird. How long ago did you register your YouTube name? Your user / in your
very long time ago. Very
I got that impression.
So
I'll let people find you to see that.
Funny story. So it originally, my original idea, I was probably 15, and I came up with a gamer name, and the gamer name was Chicken Palmy. So everything was called Chicken Palmy, and I've just had it ever since. So the channel, my name says my name, but my YouTube URL says Chicken Palmy. If you type that in, it will still take you to the same.
I noticed that. I couldn't help but notice that you're also part of the addiction.
Oh, the addiction, yes. The Fidget Spinner Club, of course. It's all the rage.
Claire, you shook your head.
I think
you got to print one of these out. You're not going to be shaking your head once you own one.
I know.
She shook her head loud enough that the camera switched to her.
All my friends have them to sit there and do this. I'm like, guys, you don't need that. You don't need it.
Oh, come on. If
it was
cool
doing this 2 years ago.
They need to commit. You need to get the one-handed spin going.
Like, if I had one, I would just sit there and do that all day. That's the problem.
Claire, don't fall into the category I did. I will stand by it. I blame everybody who's making the fidget spinners for making me realize how much I fidget.
It's actually really, because I know people like to, fidget and, bump their knees and all that sort of stuff, but I've got this really bad one where I actually pick skin off my thumb. Like it's a thing that I've just done forever. And it gets really bad. So I found that fidget spinners for me actually prevent me from tearing my thumbs off, which is really nice. So
I've seen people say they've helped them like kind of quit smoking, like not these fidget toys exactly, but fidget toys in general. It's just something to distract your mind from those like cravings and unhealthy compulsions.
Absolutely. I'd prefer spinning something pointless than smoking. That's true.
But all right, do you happen to have any projects that are going on? I know this is like we're beating this horse until it doesn't exist anymore, but it's always fun to talk to people about stuff they have going on.
Projects at the moment. So Just yesterday, I did a live stream on a sub $100 USB powered laser engraver, and that was good fun. We basically went through and we laser engraved paper and cardboard, rice crackers. We tried a potato.
Chocolate.
So that's chocolate. Yes, we did chocolate, and I think I laser engraved word text onto it. So that's always fun. So I sort of muck around with that. But I think the next big project is going to be a life-size working replica of a droid from the Star Wars universe. So I modeled it and shrunk it down to 10% of the full size. So that's it there. But future plan is to make a full-size working Star Wars robot. So that's probably going to be the long-term project for the year.
Very cool. It's very cool. The question is, can you get a fidget spinner in his hand? Otherwise, he might
We'll
develop
make it an
something
extra.
But no, that's cool. I assume you did all the modeling and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So I muck around with a student license of SolidWorks. So all of it's actually done in SolidWorks. Fully modeled from scratch. I got some reference images from the web, worked out the scale, went through, measured them by hand, and then drew it up in SolidWorks and printed 2 revisions. If you would like to print your own Everse, and again, search for user Chicken Palmy. I know it's terrible, but if you type that in for the username, it'll actually come up with all the files on the Everse. So if you wanted to make your own little Star Wars droid replica, you can download and print them for free.
I'm going to have to add that to my list of so my current project that I'm working on, which is going to be a long-term, I did my Shore Trooper helmet, which I think has made an appearance on every stream, so why not this one? So I did my Shore Trooper helmet, and this is the first large, something of this size that I've 3D printed. Everything except for the eyes are 100% 3D printed on there. So I've started an endeavor on a project of printing every helmet and droid head from Star Wars.
Oh, dude.
K2SO's next on my list of ones to do, but I'm doing all full size. And I'm going to put a shelf either up here behind me or somewhere. That part I haven't figured out yet. I'll figure that out when I have enough of them. But yeah, Jaden, I got to get the head for your droid to print out full scale.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, I'm working on slicing it up now to make it larger. I think I'm going to do a dummy prop version. So it's basically just a scaled up version of the little one that you can just sort of glue together and it just sort of sits there. And then I'll do one that is designed to actually work for camera lenses. So once I get the dummy prop one and slice it up, I'll send you the files.
Awesome.
You can be the beta tester.
That'll work.
I see you just like messing around on your channel here. I see you recently made a camera slider. That's something that I really need to do. I've needed one of those for a few months, and is that the only one you've ever made?
One,
or have you messed with any
use
other
it
ones?
for everything. You will use it for everything. I tell you. Where is it? Here it is. So this is actually. So the actual kit, it's actually part of a kit from Servo City. So they're Actobotics parts. Basically, it's an aluminium extrusion that comes with some bits and pieces. And you can also get a little rack system here. All of the electronics were sort of DIY. So an Arduino control board, DC gear motor going to like a belt system. We've got 3D printer end stops on either end. And just some really simple Arduino code that sort of just... you turn it on, it goes in one direction. If it hits the switch, then it just bounces back and goes the other direction. And then a little 3D printed dial here to put it on. But honestly, if for video creation, camera sliders, super cheap, and they just add like $1 bajillion to production quality because you can get the most awesome B-roll ever. You just put it in there and just let it slide across, and there's just something magical about it. It's fantastic. I want everyone to get one.
The first one of the first recorded videos I ever did with my DSLR, I made a little sled out of Legos. I've like bins of Legos from when I was a kid, and I made a little sled out of Legos and was like moving it by hand. And even doing that, like it shocked me when I got the video together. It's like, holy crap, that looks like it wasn't made by some idiot in his basement. And like
Yeah,
ever
it's
since
definitely-
then, I've been
it's
trying to like. I
It
need to.
definitely steps up the quality of shooting for sure.
Such a simple thing, like a little bit of
slider
motion.
is a skateboard. Skateboard with the camera on top, get a 1/4-inch bolt, drill a hole, put it through, mount, like, you know, there's little penny boards, the tiny little ones. You just drill a hole, put it through, put the camera on there, just give it a little push, or pull it with a little bit of string, and it's just nice and smooth. And yeah, give that a shot. It's awesome.
Very cool.
So real quick before we do end things, I don't know how soon we're going to end it, but while everybody's still in the chat and everything, do you mind if I kind of give a quick rundown on the stream from here out, Dick?
No, man, go for it.
All right, so we're in a little bit of talks. The streams are gaining in popularity quite rapidly, a little bit quicker than I actually figured. I never expected us to be. This is what, the 5th stream now. Never quite expected it to go to this from that one random stream. But I was talking to Travis a little bit tonight. Him and I are going to be getting together and talking a little bit more about sort of organizing things a little bit more. You guys saw in the last 2 days, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I created the Twitter account F3DPCH for Friday 3D Print Community Hangout, which is the official location for all the updates on when and who's hosting the stream. But we're looking at a better way than the Google Hangout chat that we currently have going on, which sometimes kind of goes off. Originally, it was, I'm not exactly sure who even started it, but it was started for the stream. But it's sometimes goes off the rails a little bit away from the stream and things get lost in it. So we're going to be, Travis and I are going to be talking about some ways to organize that a little bit better. And because of the popularity of the amount of people who want to get in, we're probably going to be looking at maybe saying this is who's going to be on the stream earlier in the week, so that come Friday, everybody knows who's going to be on actually streaming. And then towards the end of it, if as people fall off, maybe we'll bring other people on, something to that extent. Kind of like what we did here tonight. I think most of the night we sat at like 9 people streaming, and one would fall off and another would come on. Hangouts limits you to 10 people, which I think if you got over 10, it would get a little confusing with the camera jump. So keep an eye out for updates from that. For the streamers, the content creators, keep an eye out on the Hangout group, and I'll also DM you guys on Twitter to let you know where to find the information going forward. But I think it's great. These streams are awesome. Everybody's raving about them leading up to it, and then even after the stream, I keep getting so many compliments from people about how they like us doing these streams, and they like to see everybody get together and voice their opinions.
No, it's cool. I love it. Like, for the foreseeable future, like, even like I would assume from the next however long, like I won't be hosting. It was just this week, but kind of like I did the last stream, for the foreseeable future, whenever the stream is about to start, since I do stream on such a regular basis, like people are in the habit of like jumping on immediately when I go live. So like next Friday, whoever's hosting, like obviously I'll find out through the group and stuff who that's going to be, but I'll continue. So anybody that's on my channel, like I'll continue to jump on maybe a half hour, 15 minutes before the official Hangout starts, and try to funnel some people over to the channel that it happens to be on. And hopefully that'll help like some of the smaller channels, like I don't know, Claire, if you want to host or something like that. I say that you're going to be bigger than me before long, going at the rate you are. But I'll continue to do that. So anybody that's here like on my live chat, I don't know how it works exactly with the Hangouts. I usually stream like through the other thing, but anybody that's here, like any of you regulars, I'm going to remind you. So if you see me jumping on a Friday night, don't think I'm going to be staying on very long. It's just for announcement purposes.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody who has jumped on and streamed and everything, and the conversations I think have been great for all of us to just get together and for the community. Like tonight, Dick, having the opportunity to answer some people's questions about 3D printing and even talk about some of our own problems with 3D printing, I think was a pretty cool idea.
I think it's pretty obvious. Like I said, we're gonna have to do one at some point about like exclusively about YouTube and softwares and cameras and microphones and all that stuff here at some point. There seems to be a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure everybody's prepared so they can grab their equipment and have it easily accessible to show people what they're using.
That's kind of the point of why we were talking about sort of trying to organize it even more. Originally, it started out completely random. I just put a tweet out one night, and Lauren, Heather, you guys jumped in and ran with it. Jaden, you were in the first one there towards the end. At some point, you jumped into it. It was just it was totally sporadic, totally random.
And it was hilarious.
And, it was great. I mean, the second question I asked was, how's the weather? I don't
think I have laughed that hard in so long.
And then Travis hosted it the other week, and we went for, what was it, 4.5 hours, I think, from the time because we all start streaming and talking beforehand. Like tonight, I think, what time were you guys on, Dick? Probably like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like 8 o'clock. I started the stream.
And his time, my time, we started at 10 o'clock, went live. So for almost 2 hours before the stream went live, there were people on the Hangout talking and stuff. Travis's, we went for almost 4.5 hours, I think it was, from start to finish. Joel and Angus jumped in at the end, right after Travis hit end of the stream. Joel jumped in. I mean, it was like within seconds, Joel was logging into the stream. So it was like, but it's cool. I mean, the fact that here you have the two, I would say, #1 guys in 3D printing community jumping in to a stream with all of us who have anywhere from 50 subscribers up to Jaden's got 30,000 subscribers. I mean, then you've got Joel with 88,000 subscribers.
I think
jumping
both
in
of them are going to be hitting 100K before any of us realizes it. I've seen that with a lot of channels. Like, man, when there's certain like kind of invisible thresholds that when you get over, you tend to gain a shocking amount of momentum because your exposure just kind of gets its toe in the door, and you start like hitting the front pages of different things and stuff. And
seems to be about 50K. I've noticed that once they hit that 50K mark, then it's just suddenly the growth just explodes. And I think that is something to do with YouTube's algorithm of picking channels and videos depending on views, topics, and that sort of thing, and then shoving them. I think Joel had 1 or 2 pop up on YouTube's front page as well when he was around the 50K mark.
Well, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm like 12 away from 2,000. I can't imagine being that close to 100.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I've talked to Bob Claggett from I Like to Make Stuff, and he basically turns off his notifications on his phone because it's way too much. I mean, he's over 1 million subscribers, and he turns his notifications off. He can't even have them on. Leading up to this tonight, my phone was constantly bleeping from Hangouts, from guys talking on there, Twitter going nuts, and now I've got the 2 Twitter accounts that I'm trying to bounce back and forth between mine and the one for the 3D printing community, which for those of you who are on Twitter, if you see a like from the F3DPCH account, and then when you look at it again, it's not there, it's because I accidentally was on that one and not my own. And I'm trying to keep that one completely not personal. So I couldn't imagine. I just got a little teeny tiny taste of that tonight and yesterday with this stream, and it's getting more and more rapid with the stream. I couldn't imagine being up there where they are.
Don't wait till you have to get another phone just for it.
I know.
Yeah, with the tweet for our contest has our Twitter handles in it. Worst idea ever. I had to turn off my notifications on Twitter because we've gotten 10,000 tweets or something like that. So
there was quite a few times today. I try to make a point on Twitter of scrolling from wherever I left off all the way back up through, so I catch everything I missed.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there were so many times where I just had to hit the icon on the app to jump to the very top. Like, there was just no catching up today.
Oh, and if anyone wants to know, Joel's at 88,452. If anyone's keeping track for his 88,888 contest.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot we were talking about a contest a little bit. Joel does have that one going on too.
I am. I've had Social Blade up for ever since he announced that. I'm on top of it.
You could just Photoshop it.
That's what I was gonna do that. I was so tempted earlier today when he was only at 88,000 to Photoshop something.
Yeah.
Someone did a
Chris did
sticky
it with
note.
Post-its. Yeah.
Hey, okay, so wait. If all of us stream right when he's getting ready to roll it, and we all do a selfie of the chat, do we all get the prize?
Maybe.
He'll send us each a stepper motor.
We'll get a sticker. You get a sticker, and you get a sticker. We might have to try that. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming together for the streams. I think this is awesome. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit to try to organize them a little bit more. We got to figure out how to keep it fair as far as the people who want to stream if we have more than 10.
Yeah. I think it's good. It's like, I think everybody already gets like along for the most part once you actually get to meet each other and start chatting and stuff. But I think it helps the community not be just like islands separated by,
Twitter.
Yeah. And I think it's good because there's so many people that, might be subbed to one of our channels that's probably going to be interested in something that somebody else is doing. And it's just good for everybody.
Yeah. It's neat to see what everybody's up to in between the videos.
I think I was actually having that chat with Joel about the whole community aspect and vibe around the 3D printing community. And it seems like whenever, the thing that I really love, because I don't know if any of you come from any other areas, but coming from like the Arduino electronics scene and sort of migrating over to the 3D printing scene, you guys are much more friendlier, and everyone seems to just want to band together, and they all lift each other up, and they all, these streams, like in the DIY electronics community, there's nothing like this, nothing at all. And it's very much like competition based, where this person's got this many, this person, and they don't talk to each other at all. And it's a very different sort of feeling compared to the 3D printing community, where everyone's just like, let's get everyone up and we're a community. It's not a competition, it's a community. And that's really cool. I like it. You're also friendly.
I think the part of that stems from like the original 3D printing actually getting off the ground, being open sourced, and people working together to make it happen has kind of spilled over into the community itself, which is good.
I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but it's IMAXINAR. IMAXINAR in the chat just said PLA fumes make you friendly. I guess you could argue that.
But yeah,
I think you're right, Lauren. I think the rep community, the crowdsourcing to come up with the 3D printers and make them affordable like they are now, I think definitely plays a part into the mentality of everybody who's involved in the community.
And also, we're just all awesome.
That's what I was just going to say. We're just all awesome. Why can't we just be awesome?
That's just the bonus. We're just awesome.
Absolutely.
But I've been like tangentially involved in some other like YouTube communities, and there definitely is like this kind of protectionist attitude where guys seem like they're afraid for their subscribers to see other people. It's like it's like this almost like sexual jealousy with like their subscriber base, because like they think like if somebody else, like, you're going to sub somewhere else and never watch their videos again. And I don't get that vibe at all from the 3D printing community, or I haven't. And I mean, there's probably some people out there that feel that way, but
I'll tell you, because I pay attention to the metalworking, the woodworking community as well, and they are a lot like the 3D printing community as well. I mean, a lot of those guys, there are some that are kind of like they're off in their own corner. They're doing their TV show. They could more or less, they could care less what everybody else is doing. But the maker community, I think, in general, leaves things open for the friendliness and the communication between everybody.
But maybe it comes with like creative stuff, or I don't know. there's probably some explanation for it. Like you said, it's probably due to the whole open source concept. Because I've been involved in some like programming communities that are kind of like that too. If they come from like something that's open source, there's just that like fundamentally different mentality that comes with that maybe.
I mean, do any of you follow Hackaday at all?
I do.
Oh, sorry, Claire.
I'm sorry, I'm like at a delay compared to everyone else.
No, we all are. We all just pause when we all talk
sorry.
on top of each other. You're good.
No, I was gonna say I think it also helps that it's like a very niche thing because there's like that list and it's only like there's only like up there for 3D printing in general. Like there's not that many.
We're all a bunch of weirdos in our basement with printers.
Pretty much.
I like Deacon's comment. As someone who is not subbed to you but is subbed to other people, the maker community is that of a community who seeks knowledge.
Absolutely.
Thanks for pointing out that you're not sub, Deacon.
And go sub. What the heck?
Anyhow, go sub. Give him a thumbs up. Everybody in the chat right now, go give Nillabean a thumbs up for the stream tonight for hosting it. That's the least you guys can do.
My hosting was amazing. It was very big league. I've never seen someone host so well.
Are you dictating what his comments should be on your video?
No.
That would be great if everybody leaves
I've already had a couple trolls. There was one guy. Someone was basically trolling Dustin Jatman, and I commented on his video, and I like normally I probably would have got a little upset, but I couldn't help but laugh. So the guy got mad at me, and then I looked. Within, I don't know how people do it. Within like 5 minutes, I had exactly as many additional dislikes on my channel as I had videos. He went through and disliked every single video I had.
Hey, it's all engagement.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's when I got when Reddit kind of went a little bit nuts for a little bit about the Google Gnome. I told him, I said, look, hey, give me your criticism. Leave a comment. Let me know what you didn't like, and give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it. I'm cool with that.
Maybe on my channel, it all helps.
Absolutely.
Uncle Jesse's smashing his Switch video. That was pretty great. He said he knew it would be bad, and it was just all bad, but he didn't care. He did it anyway.
That's like with the Google Home video. The thing that kind of I thought was funny is people were comparing my video to the actual Google commercial, and I was like, I was like,
can we just acknowledge the elephant in the room? There's a Hulk teddy bear.
I saw it was green.
I was going to say something.
I was leaning against him, and then I felt bad, so I figured I should hang on to him.
But
yes, it's a Hulk teddy bear from Build-A-Bear. It's Nick's, and his name is Hulky Smash Smash.
Dixie would love that. Dixie loves Hulk.
That's god.
Because every Hulk should have that.
Wait, okay, so Hulk's playing Star Wars.
Loud though.
That is profoundly random.
Yes, it is. And every 37-year-old should have one.
I don't know. I think if my 5-year-old saw that, she'd want one too. But yeah, so like everybody was comparing. Or I shouldn't say everybody, but some of the people were comparing my video to the actual Google Gnome commercial. And I'm like, you do understand that in less than 24 hours, I turned around, I modeled the stuff to go on the Google Home and shot a video and edited it and posted it all in like 12 hours from seeing that commercial the initial time. It was like, yes, it's not going to be up to the quality of Google.
All right, guys. Well, I was just saying, I'm getting ready to head out. I have to drive 3.5 hours tomorrow in a snowstorm to go to a baby shower. So I should probably go to sleep.
You crazy lady.
I know, right? Who thought this was a good idea? Not me. Anyway, but thanks for letting me jump in and crash the stream.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Heather.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I'm sad I can't talk about any of our projects because all Travis's projects right now are top secret. So he has a top secret YouTuber project and a top secret government project. Literally, he can't talk about it. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
good times.
he didn't let any secrets out on this stream, did he?
No, he didn't.
He did. He did the other day.
On the stream?
I think the last hangout, it was so late, he was like, "This is buried
Oh,
for hours
yeah.
in the stream.
Oh yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
cares."
yeah. Well, that should be coming out. The package has been sent, and so that went out and is supposed to be delivered Monday. So that's his kind of deadline, as he's trying to get the video done for that by Monday. And then what? He's screaming. What are you screaming? Oh, he's screaming. No, he didn't. Anyways. So yeah, so he's trying to get that done by Monday, and then his other government project, I don't know when that one's going to be done, but that's never going to see the light of day. So, and there he is. And we're saying bye now. All right, bye guys.
See you, Heather.
Bye, Heather.
Bye.
So I have a random question for whoever's left. How do you guys keep your projects straight? Because I have like 25 of them going on right now.
Just jump from one to the next.
Like, do you guys do one full project and then move on to the next, or do you go like a quarter of the way through a project and then switch to another one and then go back?
I'll probably do that. I have actually got a mirror. I've got a mirror. Oh, it's not going to work. I've got a mirror like wardrobe thing, and on there I use a whiteboard marker, and I sort of like think about a project and divide it up into bits, and then have all the projects with all the bits, and just attack it bit by bit, and sort of be like, oh, model this part of the project, but then down the bottom it might say wire up parts of this project. So my garage is an absolute complete mess, but it's a structured mess. I know where I'm up to.
I use bins. Like the crossbow here, I have, 45 pieces or so that I printed out the other day that I need to test fit and take some measurements, and probably need to do different iterations. Because for me, like, organizing files is worse than the actual like physical stuff. Because like that, I have bins everywhere. Oh, there's freaking George back there. I forgot he was back there. I should have had his glory on the stream here earlier, but I can't reach. I just have like, there's like, it's like the onion here. I have just layers and layers. This is actually totally not related to anything, but this is a painting my grandmother did. And I remembered it from when I was a child, and I said something to her, and she got it out of the attic for me. Very cool.
That's awesome.
But no, I just have bins like everywhere, and like you can see most of those are full of like 3D printed parts. And I just like work on stuff when I have the desire to, and I'll just like tuck everything away. Like all my notes and stuff will be in, in its own bin. And then if I feel like working on it, I'll get it out and everything's right there. But for me, keeping files organized is the hard part. Like I have STLs, I have mountains of STLs.
See, and that part's the easy part for me. But like I have stuff, like it's a good thing Nick was out of town this week, because there was literally a project in every room in our first floor. There was 2 projects in the den. The coffee table was in the basement. I had the protopasta filament testing in the kitchen. I have the ANET A8 going on the coffee table next to me. I had some prints that I'm sending out to people going in the kitchen. I literally, every room of the downstairs had different projects all over them.
You're my role model. If I can have a house with a project in every room, I know my life is right.
It was awesome, except for I had to clean it all up before he came home today.
Hide the evidence.
Luckily, I got an extra 24 hours thanks to Delta.
Instead of picking up like cups and broken bottles and food, you're running out trying to put together all the 3D printed parts.
For reals. I literally had, I still have a printer in the kitchen, and the ANET is still in pieces right now. But the everything else had to be put away.
But
I
cookie
wait
sheets,
for my stuff
these
kind of
cookie sheets too. I clean. Well, I do Warhammer figures and stuff, and I've probably have 3,000 to 4,000 minis down here that are like in various stages of being like stripped, having the paint stripped off of them and cleaned up and reprimed and stuff. And I somehow got in the habit of using cookie sheets, and I'll lay stuff flat on them, and then you can stack them like fairly reasonably. And like I don't have any over here, but I probably have like 30 or 40 cookie sheets over on the other side of the room stacked up. Just shove it away. Just get it away, have it like reasonably like together, and then you just like worry about sorting it back out later.
I mean, my one problem with putting things away is, for me, it's very much out of sight, out of mind. So then I'll forget about them.
Oh, I do. I definitely do. But it's nice. It's nice to have like 30 things in the works, and you just kind of like do this when you feel like it and do that when you feel like it. I mean, unless you have like deadlines and stuff, that's different. But
so Ryan in the chat, his handle's I'm Print, wanted to see my spool holder that I was talking about in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see that there or not. It's actually just 2x4s mounted to the floor joist over my head with metal rods through it. So somebody was talking about putting their spools in plastic bins and stuff while we were talking about organizing our projects. That's my organization for my filament. It's out in the open in the basement.
Are you worried about moisture at all down there?
I mean, so like during the wintertime, my basement stays about 30% humidity. Yeah. I do have a dehumidifier that I run in the summertime and keep it about 50 to 55%. I rarely have issues. The only issue I ever had with my filament and moisture is nylon. I have to dry it out. Or PLA, if it sits around for like a year. Like I've had some spools that are too small to do any big projects that sat around. It gets super brittle. That you can't almost straighten it just to feed it into the extruder. Other than that, I haven't had any issues with it.
I'm curious to see how this summer is. Like you said, winter's not too bad. It's kind of naturally like low humidity, but I'm kind of at the same time looking forward to it and super not looking forward to it this summer because our basement is fairly damp. So I'm sure the dehumidifier is going to be running like 24/7.
I have a dehumidifier that just runs in the office section here in my basement. It doesn't do the entire basement. Just in time, 3D Prints apparently saw my projector that's like right there overhead. There. So this goes with my homemaker mentality. You guys can see the projector hanging right there. He said he liked my PVC holder for the projector. That is the drain lines coming down from my kitchen running underneath my bathroom.
Mitch 3D said, y'all northerners in your basements. Yeah, we have basements. There's such a bad idea.
Phoenix, and there are no basements in Phoenix.
There's no basements in Australia at all. Like basements
seriously.
and attics, like we don't have basements or attics. It's like 1 or 2 story. That's it. That's what we got.
That seriously must be like an East Coast thing then.
Well, the reason why they're not in Arizona is because the ground is what's called caliche, which is basically clay. And so to dig a basement costs a lot of money. So there are houses that have them, but they're the very, very expensive houses.
Yeah, see, for around here, basements are a pretty common thing for us.
There's a lot of places. It is like a regional thing. Like my mom lives in Florida, and they have essentially 0 basements because they have water problems and really poor soil. And like I know there's actually areas around me that they have the same clay situation where it just takes so much work to dig a foundation out that it's really not like financially feasible unless you're building like a $500,000 plus house.
We ran into ledge stone with our house. We had to drill the ledge stone out to have our basement made.
That's another thing here. We live in like the Appalachians, and you can never really tell until you start digging, but there's always the possibility that bedrock's only 7 to 10 feet down below the surface, and at that point you're pretty much done too.
Yeah, we were lucky it was only a small corner, else they would have had to blast, which is thousands.
Never let the machines win in the chat said, where do you store your crap without a basement? I have no idea. You guys must have sheds or something.
Attics
my
and
room.
sheds. Yep.
I can't walk in my room.
Build a bigger house.
Attic storage units.
Justin Time wants to know where everybody's from. Justin Time, you're the one with a lot of questions tonight. We appreciate
I'm in
it.
Maine. I'm from Phoenix, but I'm in Maine.
I'm in York, Pennsylvania, born and raised here.
Yep. And I'm like, I think we figured like an hour or less from Matt in Pennsylvania by chance.
Yeah, something close to that.
Yeah, I'm West Coast, so it's like only 10:30 right now here.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it
nice.
is 1:30 a.m. for us.
Yeah, I realized that later. I was like,
What? It's 1:30? How crazy! It's like 2:54 here.
Hey, Jaden, we were all getting ready to leave till you got on. It's your fault we're all still awake.
Ha! Ha! I'm a bad influence. Well, I finished work, so I sort of on Saturdays I do the morning shift, and I get home about 1:20 p.m. So I'm always in the latter half of this sort of thing. And I'm from Adelaide, Australia. She's in South Australia.
David 3D asked about me being a Ravens fan because he must have seen the poster up there. And yes, I am a Ravens fan.
Yeah, we do need Angus. We need more Australians.
Every once in a while,
So Mitch 3D
that's
said.
I'll get in, but I know she's focused. She's got higher priorities
She's
than
got-
talking to us right now.
Yeah, she made a baby. That's like the best maker project, really.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying about her. She did the slowest 3D print ever. But I'm kind of curious how things are going to go. My wife's due, I think, at the end of May here. So hopefully this is an easier baby than our daughter was. She basically cried for the first year and a half. I mean, is how I remember her childhood. So hopefully the second one's a little bit easier than that.
Add that to
Otherwise-
reasons not to have children.
Yeah. Oh man. We have friends. It's kind of like I do feel bad that I feel that way, but it's kind of satisfying. But we have friends that they had a baby and it was a super easy baby. Like the first night home from the hospital, it slept the whole way through the night. And then they had a second child, and the child is kind of like our daughter was. And it's just like fussy all the time. And it was just nice to see them have that reality check, because I think they thought the first one was easy because they were amazing parents. And it's like, no, it's not like that. Babies are just different. You got like, you were playing with cheat codes the first time around, and now you have like what we experienced. You got the colicky baby. Because parents, like everybody's dealt with that has kids. Like when your child's all fussy and you're out in public, people just like look at you like, why don't they parent better? Like, honestly, they're doing it wrong. And it's like, I don't know what to do. They just like, she just cries and cries and cries.
There's no off switch.
Yeah. The batteries never go dead. Then she comes home and sleeps for a half hour, and you think like, oh, at least we're done for a while. And it's like, no, it took 45 minutes to lay her down, and now she's up 30 minutes later.
The best part is when you put the kids to bed and you end up falling asleep there next to them. Come out an hour later. It took you that long? No, I fell asleep.
But no, it's
Matt,
interesting.
Are you gonna announce what Travis is saying?
I don't know. I'm afraid Heather might put a hit out on me if I do. So,
I like this feeling.
Should we announce it or not? I'll let him do it. If for those of you who are in the chat, Travis gave away what one of his current projects is.
Oh, I see that. I missed it. That's cool. You guys will have to find it.
Yep. It's a secret. I'm going to keep it that way. That way Heather doesn't get mad at us.
It's true. She's scary when she's mad.
She is. She has a lot of rolls of film, and if she doesn't hit you with the first one, there's another one coming right behind it.
Is it bad? I see her like the mum of 3D printing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I don't
cool.
have to get hit with any rolls of filament now.
I told Heather I need to get a logo that doesn't suck so I can like get in queue to have one made. but God only knows how long that queue is. I'd imagine Travis has some people backed up there waiting for stuff to be made.
Yeah, he was talking about that on either one of these streams or one of his streams about once he started doing a couple of them, the requests just started pouring in at that point from other YouTubers and stuff.
No, it's cool. It's nice to have a niche, for sure.
Absolutely. Me, I'm just going to spew content out there, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Did you guys have anything you wanted to talk about here? Because I do. I have to head out soon. We have to wake up. I have to wake up in like 5 hours.
Yeah, I got to go to work again tomorrow. So
yeah, considering it's like 1:30 a.m. where you guys are, I'm surprised it's still going.
See, Jaden, for those of us in the U.S., we have to stay up late so that we catch you guys in Australia.
Oh, you're so kind.
This is the life of a YouTuber over here.
You're just blaming me for your late night. I see how it is.
No, we're blaming YouTube.
Oh, that's okay then.
I made coffee before we started, so I'm actually good. I'm probably gonna have trouble falling asleep, even though I know it's time to go to bed.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna cut and run. Claire, it was nice meeting you. Glad to have you as part of the community. Can't wait to see what you're up to. Jaden, as always, it's fun to talk to you. You're always a treat to talk to. And Vic, thanks for hosting. Looks like Lauren, I think she said she'd be back, but thanks for hosting everything.
Yep. Plus, I'm a sucker for a man with an accent, I gotta say.
I get so many negative comments about people not being able to understand.
I just like your.
Are you British?
I like your bloopers.
We left Britain ages ago. That's centuries ago.
I like when you leave your bloopers in the video where you question what you just said.
I always question what I say. What bloopers? What are you talking about?
Like, we're going to keep this PC, but I used to be, like, when I played World of Warcraft, I was in an Australian guild, and there was one word in particular that those guys would say, like, every fifth word that kind of distinguished them from the UK crowd. And I don't know if... I'm not going to say it, but...
Put it in our chat.
It's a word...
Not the stream chat, but the Hangout chat.
It's a word that I came to like endure that I can't say and play company. Yeah, Mitch. Yeah, I think chat understands.
Oh yeah, that word.
Oh man, because growing up, that was a no word. Like even as an adult, but then like I used to hang out with those guys so much, and like now I have this warm fuzzy place in my heart for that word, and it's like I can't ever use it. When you've heard it said for about the 18,000th time, it starts to take on like a completely different meaning. They say it's
just so you guys know, I'm putting it out there. We don't talk like that. We aren't foul-mouthed pirates. I'm just putting it out there, and we don't ride kangaroos. I'm putting all of that to rest.
Oh, what are the kangaroos supposed to do if you're not riding them?
Beat each other up. Like that's all they do. They literally just jump around and kick each other. That's our wildlife. Everything tries to kill each other.
So, Jaden, I got a recommendation for a project. So you're into electronics. You gotta find a kangaroo and I just want you to put a GPS tracker on one, and then put up like a website so we can track where it goes.
That's actually not a bad idea.
How feasible would that be? I have no knowledge of kangaroos besides that they hop. And they have a
probably pretty feasible. They can hop around 60k an hour.
Wow. And
they can literally jump over, I think, 3 car lengths if they want to. So they're pretty crazy. And they're like taller than I am. I'm trying to think in terms. I'm 6 foot, I think. Works out to be in your American measurements. And way taller than me. Like you scared looking at them because it's I don't know. It's like horses where you can't read their face. They just look at you, and you don't know if they're okay with you or if they want to kill you.
Do they let you get close to them? Or are they skittish?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can. Yeah, you can.
And then they punch you.
There's places a lot.
That's what I'm picturing.
And then they punch you. Yeah. I'm in the city, and if you drive about 40 minutes away and you go out to the sort of hilly regions where it's like the wine region, where we're sort of like famous worldwide for our wine. And a lot of those places have petting zoo sort of things where you can walk in and you can muck around with kangaroos and all those other marsupial things that we have. You can go for it. You can absolutely, and they will come up to you. If you've got food, they can be friendly, but it's one of those things you don't know if they're going to eat the food out of your hand or kick you 5 meters. You don't know.
So I had a family member that was trying to hang out with the roos, and he was afraid of the punching. And like I had seen enough videos to know that the punches aren't what's scary. He got a punctured intestine from one of the kangaroos because they have those huge like nails on their feet, don't they? And they kick you in the midsection. He was in the hospital down there for like 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. He got an extended vacation involuntarily.
Yeah, they can. I've heard stories of them kicking like dogs and that sort of thing, and they can kill dogs, not a problem. And the male kangaroos, they have like pecs and everything. You can see the outline of their muscle structure. They're just pure muscle. And you can actually buy kangaroo steak in the shops if you want to, but it's a very you need to slow cook it because it's just so like muscly.
It's like eating shoe leather.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on that note, I'm gonna head out.
We've gotten off 3D printing onto
Although
kangaroos.
oddly enough, that would probably not be the weirdest thing I had eaten. I don't know. I've had yak. That was pretty weird.
It's yak.
Yak. It's not good. I don't recommend it.
Yak is kind of like, wait. Yeah, yaks are like steers. Beef, basically, eh?
No, it's like a buffalo-y type creature. It's really fatty, disgusting flavored meat, though. I don't recommend it.
Nice.
Anyway, I gotta go to bed because I'm delusional.
That's when things start to get fun.
I haven't gotten more than like 4.5 hours of sleep any night this week. And 6 days in a row now, I'm not really functioning anymore.
Not sleeping makes you pretty loopy.
So I'm going to go pass out, and you guys have an awesome night, and thanks for another awesome stream.
Yep, thanks for coming again, Lauren.
Good night,
All
Lauren.
right, bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce too.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're probably about done.
Okay.
Jaden's ready to keep going. He's going to keep it going until tomorrow morning when we all get back up.
I will
keep it going.
You might find some humor in this, Jaden. One of the strangest items I've ever owned was related to kangaroos. Like, I've done a lot of tabletop gaming. You just go to tournaments and
I
stuff.
know what it is already.
And a friend I had in Australia sent me an item, and I had a Roo scrotum dice bag.
Yes.
And it was shockingly large. And you can't buy them anymore.
No, you can. Like, you know, do you guys call them tow balls? The things on the back of your car which you hitch your trailers onto?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can actually buy them, and they go on that. So you've got a pair of things dangling at the back of your car.
Oh yeah, we call them truck nuts over here.
Yeah, truck nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, but they're actual kangaroo ones. Yeah, you can buy them.
But yeah, kangaroo scrotum dice bag is very soft.
Very soft.
And somebody, it made me sad. I was so sad. I was at a tournament in, I think, DC, and somebody stole it. I think word had gotten out what it was, and the novelty overwhelmed people, and it got stolen.
Aw. Well, I'll see if I can find one for you, and we'll replace that. That's a very coveted item.
I would be forever grateful.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me host. It was fun. Hopefully, we spread the love. Some of my normal crew like branched out and subbed, and
yeah, I know. I just checked Claire. She got up to 111, and she was at 99 when I first said something. She's had somebody's got to look up Social Blade for her. She's had some tremendous growth. Yeah, Jaden. It went like this.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, I appreciate you hosting it, Dick.
But yeah,
Jaden,
thanks, man.
Thanks for popping in, even though you were late, fashionably.
Thanks for staying up late and letting me join in on the fun.
It's nice meeting you, Jaden. And thanks to everybody in chat. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I know it's a little late, but thanks for hanging in there. I know a lot of you guys are from the UK, so it's not surprising really, but
I don't know. It's like
hanging out,
middle
as
of the night over there, ain't it? It's like early in the morning now.
Oh, that's true. I'm like
It's like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning for them now.
Give me a break. I'm late. All right. Or I'm not late. See, I can't even talk right. It's late.
Time to end. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks again, everybody.
Yep. Peace, everybody.